Pause for a moment, wherever you're sitting, whatever you're thinking. Consider this: the world you've been taught to trust, the so-called solid ground beneath your feet, the cause and effect logic you base decisions on, the very notion of linear time and predictable outcomes, is not just limited. It's outdated. We are living in a world shaped by assumptions that were never designed to empower you. You've been handed a manual for survival, not sovereignty. And while most people quietly conform to it, nodding along to the narrative that says reality is fixed, predictable, and outside your control, something in you has started to question. That question is your doorway into the quantum. This isn't about abstract theory. This is about understanding how you are already functioning as a quantum being every single day. You've just been operating below your capacity because no one showed you the code. But that's exactly what we're doing in this series. Across the next 4 hours, we're going to reconstruct your relationship with reality, piece by piece, using a unique blend of science, metaphysics, frequency psychology, and self-activation. You'll discover how every thought, every emotion, every moment of focus you generate is sending instructions into a responsive universe, one that is far more fluid and intelligent than the one you were trained to believe in. You are not a passive observer of a mechanical universe. You are not a brain inside a skull reacting to a fixed world. You are not simply flesh and memory and hopes strung together by random chance. You are quantum. You are a field of vibrating intelligence with the ability to choose, collapse, reprogram, and manifest reality. Not by sheer willpower, but by aligning with the very laws that govern the fabric of existence. This isn't science fiction. This is quantum truth. We'll begin by breaking the most fundamental lie you've been conditioned to accept, the lie of solid matter. Then, we'll pull apart the idea of identity itself and show you how fluid, choice-based, and expansive your sense of self truly is. You'll learn how to tune your frequency, collapse probabilities into form, shift timelines, communicate with your future self, and use intention like an energetic GPS system to guide your life with clarity and precision. From there, we'll unlock the deeper tools: intuitive intelligence, dream programming, quantum nutrition, vibrational movement, coherence, and collective field activation. By the end, you won't just understand that you're already quantum. You'll be living it. Every chapter is a key. Every minute you watch is a recalibration. Each insight you gain is not something you're learning, it's something you're remembering. So, buckle in, not to escape the world, but to finally see it. Let's start with the first truth that cracks the whole illusion. Let's challenge the foundation of everything you've been taught. Matter is not what it seems, and you're more wave than particle. It starts with the senses. You look at a chair and say, "That's solid." You hear footsteps echo down a hall and feel time move forward. You bump into a wall and feel resistance, a surface pushing back. These daily cues reinforce the illusion that the world is made of fixed, solid objects. You think you're moving through space, following time, engaging in events that unfold one after another in predictable, measurable ways. But none of that is true. The chair isn't solid. The wall isn't pushing back. Time doesn't flow in one direction. This isn't a metaphor. This is physics. At the smallest levels of measurement, the building blocks of reality are not particles but probabilities, flickers of possibility, not defined objects. Electrons don't sit in fixed orbits. They blink in and out of potential locations. Photons behave like waves until observed, and only then choose a position. The deeper scientists look into matter, the less they find. It's not that things get smaller. It's that solidity disappears entirely. So why does everything feel so real? Because your brain is interpreting a quantum soup through a sensory lens designed for survival, not truth. Your eyes, ears, skin, and brain circuitry translate the chaos of vibration into the illusion of objects, permanence, distance, and time. Just enough for you to function as a human. But outside that filter, what you call reality is just an interactive field of infinite possibility waiting to respond to your attention. Let that land. The universe is waiting to respond to your attention. This flips everything. You're not inside a fixed reality. You are reality shaping itself through awareness. And the tool shaping it is not action, it's observation. This is the foundation of the quantum universe. observation collapses potential into form. Before the observation, everything is a wave. After observation, a choice has been made. So what does that make you? You are the observer that selects, the field that receives, the consciousness that filters and forms. You are not a separate thing looking at reality from the outside. You are reality looking at itself from a temporary angle. When you fully realize that your thoughts are not trapped in your head, that your awareness is not confined to your eyes, and that your choices affect probability in measurable ways, you begin to operate on an entirely different frequency. This is the quantum self, not bound by time, not limited by physical laws, not stuck repeating stories written by unconscious minds. And once you see that, you can't go back. Now the question becomes, if reality isn't solid, then what exactly are you? And how is it that you, this field of conscious vibration, are able to interact with the world in such a consistent way? That's where we go next. Because now that we've stripped away the illusion of matter, it's time to meet the truth of your design. And discover that you're not a person in a field. You are the field. Physics says you're not a thing, you're a field. And this changes everything. So now you know the solidity of the world was a trick of perception. A beautiful illusion maintained by your biology, your social conditioning, and a deep collective agreement. But if the illusion falls away, what remains? What remains is the real you, not the physical body, not the mind running loops of memory, not the name and story attached to your face. But something far more fundamental, a field, a vibrating, intelligent, responsive energy field. You aren't inside a field. You are the field. You are a concentration of organized frequency, a standing wave of intention in the middle of an infinite ocean of possibility. And your body, it's not the thing that defines you. It's the interface you use to express a fraction of who you truly are. Let's make this clear. In quantum physics, the fundamental entities aren't particles. They're fields. Fields that extend infinitely through space. Particles are simply the localized expressions of those fields, like a whirlpool in a stream. A particle is a what, but the field is the why. This means the reality you call you isn't the whirlpool. It's the stream behind it. So when you say, I am me, what you're really saying, though unknowingly, is, I am a conscious field temporarily shaped into form. This shifts everything about how you function. Because a field doesn't operate by physical touch. It doesn't wait for material impact. A field transmits. It emits. It receives. It operates through vibration, signal, interference, and resonance. And that's exactly how your real self functions, not by brute force or external control, but through frequency exchange. And here's where it gets powerful. The field that is you is not fixed. It is programmable. The you that you think you are, the personality, the patterns, the limitations are just temporary configurations of this field. They're not who you are. They're simply how you've been tuned up to this point. The programs you've run, the beliefs you've accepted, the emotions you've held, the thoughts you've repeated. All of that adds up to a signal. And the universe responds to signal. This is why certain people can walk into a room and shift the energy. Why some attract opportunity effortlessly. Why some repeat the same loops no matter how hard they try to change. It's not luck. It's not fate. It's frequency. When you understand that you are a field, you stop trying to fix the world around you. And you start retuning yourself to operate at a new frequency altogether. Let's look deeper at how this works. Every field has properties, amplitude, frequency, phase. When you're angry, for example, your electromagnetic field contracts. When you're in love, it expands. When you're in fear, your field becomes incoherent, scrambled, unpredictable. When you're in clarity or gratitude, it smooths out. Your heart, your brain, your gut, all of them generate electromagnetic signals that merge to form a signature. And that signature doesn't just stay inside you, it radiates. It affects others. It affects matter. It affects probability. And that's not poetic language. That's measurable science. Your heart generates a field that extends several feet outside your body. Coherent emotional states like appreciation and joy produce clear, harmonic waves. Chaotic states like anxiety produce jagged, erratic ones. These wave patterns influence your biology and your environment. Everything from your immune system to your ability to connect with others is shaped by the configuration of your field. But here's where the opportunity lies. The field doesn't just respond to life. It responds to command. You can train your frequency. You can shift your field by changing your emotional states, your mental focus, your breath, your posture, your intention. You can broadcast deliberately. You can clean interference. You can strengthen coherence. And when you do that, reality reorganizes around you. Most people walk around reacting to external triggers, letting the world shape their field. But when you reverse that, when you begin to shape your field first, you stop reacting and start influencing. This is not about becoming someone new. It's about reclaiming what you already are. And that truth that you are not a limited mind in a body, but a quantum field of conscious energy with the ability to radiate and receive at will, is the axis upon which your life pivots. Because once you understand that the world is not solid, and that you are not solid, then suddenly everything you once believed was permanent becomes optional. Now you have the power to shift your signature not by doing more but by aligning more. Not by controlling circumstances, but by changing your frequency so that new circumstances become the only ones that resonate. You were never meant to make life happen. You were meant to emit a signal so clean, so true, so coherent, that reality has no choice but to reflect it. This is quantum activation. But there's one more piece you need to know. If you're a field, how do you actually send commands? How does this field choose, move, attract, or repel experiences? It's not random. It's not mystical. It all begins with your signal. And that signal is created by your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, all of which combine to create a unique frequency signature that either amplifies or distorts your potential. And now that you understand you are a field, a transmitter of reality, you need to understand what you're transmitting. Because you're always sending out a signal. The only question is it the signal you want to send? Next, we will break this down. We're going to look at the exact structure of that frequency. How your identity itself, not your name, not your personality, but your energetic profile, becomes the blueprint that reality uses to determine what shows up in your life. Get ready to discover that you're not a body with a frequency. You are the frequency. You're not a body with a frequency. You are the frequency. Learn how your thoughts are encoded vibrations shaping your world. You've now seen that you're not a static object in space. You're not a mind stuck inside a skull. You're not even a human being broadcasting a frequency. You are the frequency. That's not a metaphor. That's your structure. And once you see yourself as a field of energy in motion, you must start asking, what signal am I actually putting out? Because the reality you're experiencing right now is not reacting to your desires. It's reacting to your frequency. Every relationship, every opportunity, every pattern you keep repeating, every coincidence or stuck loop or flash of luck, none of it is random. It all responds to the vibrational fingerprint you emit into the quantum field. This frequency signature is your identity, not your name, not your personality, not your history. Your identity, as the universe receives it, is the total waveform created by the thoughts you think, the emotions you dwell in, the beliefs you carry, the images you replay, the words you use, the posture you hold, and the energy you reinforce moment by moment. All of these signals mix and overlay, forming a stable resonance. And that resonance is what the quantum field reads as you. Think of it like music. Each note alone has a tone, but together they form a song. Your identity is that song. And whether it's chaotic noise or harmonic beauty is determined by the coherence of your internal patterns. Let's break that down even further. Start with thoughts. Each thought you think produces a measurable electromagnetic signal. Not metaphorically, literally. Electroencephalograms, EEGs, can track them. Magnetic fields can detect them. Thoughts are not invisible internal activity. They are broadcast signals. Next, consider emotion. Emotion isn't just a feeling. It's a chemical energetic state that infuses your entire body and field with either contraction or expansion. Think of guilt. Think of love. These aren't just states of mind, they are radically different frequencies. One compresses your signal. The other expands it. Now add belief. Beliefs are persistent thought-emotion structures that operate like programs in your field. Belief is what keeps your frequency stuck or sets it free. Most beliefs run unconsciously, forming the foundation of your identity. I'm not enough. I always get overlooked. I need to earn love. These aren't just thoughts. They are repeating energetic loops embedded in your field. They act like magnets, pulling experiences into alignment with them, over and over. Words also play a crucial role. Every time you speak, you reinforce frequency. Your words aren't just sounds. They're embedded instructions. They anchor vibration in space. Say, I can't enough times, and your field adjusts to accommodate that limitation. Say, I choose, and the signal becomes directive. Your voice is a tuning fork. Most people use it unconsciously. And then there's posture. Yes, even posture broadcasts signal. Your body is not passive. Your stance, breathing, alignment, these send messages to your nervous system and your energetic field simultaneously. Slumped shoulders, shallow breath, compressed chest, these form a signature. So does an open spine, lifted gaze, relaxed jaw. Frequency isn't just what you think. It's what you are in every micro-movement. All of this forms the total package of your vibrational identity. And the universe is always scanning for match. It's not choosing based on what you say you want. It's not rewarding effort or punishing failure. It's responding to coherence. When your internal frequency matches the frequency of a particular timeline, relationship, or outcome, it shows up. It has to. That's law. This is why people say things like, I wanted it so badly, but it never came. Because want is not frequency. Want implies lack. The field doesn't care what you want. It only mirrors what you are. So the question becomes, what frequency are you living from right now? Look around. Your current external life is the evidence of your internal signal. It's not about blame. It's not about guilt. It's about power. Your current identity has broadcasted the version of reality you're living. Change that signal and the field rearranges. Now let's talk about something most never consider. Frequency is sticky. Once a pattern gains momentum, it holds. That's why even when people intellectually try to change, new thoughts, new affirmations, new strategies, they often don't shift reality. Because they haven't tuned their field. They've just added surface noise. To truly shift your frequency, the change must reach emotional, physical, and belief-level coherence. It has to be felt, breathed, spoken, and sustained, long enough to override the previous signal. That's how new realities get selected. That's how the quantum responds. When you align your thoughts with the future you choose. When you back them with elevated emotion. When your actions and language match. And when you drop the old programs of unworthiness, fear, doubt, and guilt. You change your frequency signature. Not gradually, instantly. The field doesn't require time. It requires alignment. And alignment is not about perfection. It's about signal purity. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't need to be in bliss 24/7. You just need to create a consistent field with enough coherence to stabilize a new version of you. That's where reality starts shifting. That's when the timeline clicks. That's when synchronicity appears. And that's when you realize everything you've been chasing was simply waiting for you to match its signal. So now that you understand that your identity is not a fixed story, but a flexible, energetic broadcast, you're ready for the next level. Because the question naturally arises. If your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions are forming the frequency of your reality, then how exactly do thoughts become things? What is the real mechanism? Next, we will zoom into that link, the one between your inner world and physical manifestation, and discover the one scientific principle that makes it all work. It's called the observer effect. And it changes everything. Physics confirms you influence particles just by looking. But you're not just an observer, you're a coder. Every thought you have, every glance, every single act of awareness, they don't just register the world, they reconfigure it. This is not a theory. This is one of the most important discoveries in quantum physics, and yet, it's one of the most misunderstood. The observer effect. At the quantum level, everything exists in a state of probability. Particle could be here, or there, or everywhere in between. But the moment it is observed, it chooses, collapses, it localizes. It becomes one version. The simple act of conscious attention changes what's real. But here's where the misunderstanding comes in. People hear that and assume it's symbolic. They think, oh, we influence things with our attention in a poetic sense. No, this is literal. In the famous double-slit experiment, electrons, the building blocks of your reality, behave like waves when unobserved. That means they exist in multiple possible paths simultaneously. But when someone observes the process, they suddenly behave like particles. They choose one path. The wave collapses into a fixed event. This tells us something profound. Reality isn't fixed until you engage with it. The world around you is more of a menu of probabilities than a finished structure. And you, the conscious observer, are selecting from that menu constantly. You are not passively witnessing life. You are causing it to happen by seeing it, expecting it, engaging with it. This single principle overturns centuries of materialist thinking. It reveals that awareness is not a side effect of biology. It is a force that sculpts matter. But here's what makes it even more powerful for your life. You're not just observing reality randomly. You're observing it through the filter of your frequency signature. So every time your attention lands on something, whether it's a thought, a possibility, a memory, or a desired future, that attention is laced with the vibration of your identity. And that combination of observation plus frequency is what selects the version of reality that takes shape around you. You're already doing this. All the time. You're already collapsing waveforms into form. You're already shaping the narrative that plays out around you. The only difference is you haven't been doing it consciously. You've been reacting instead of coding. Let's go deeper. The observer effect implies that every time you look at something, not just with your eyes, but with focused awareness, you influence it. Your focus sends energy. That energy impacts the field. And the field responds with material outcomes. That's the feedback loop you've been trapped in. You feel limited, so you observe a limited world. You see the world as limited, and so you reinforce your limitation. Again and again until the loop feels like law. But that law is yours to rewrite. You can shift what you observe. You can shift how you observe. And you can shift who is doing the observing. This last point is critical. There's not just one version of you behind your eyes. There are layers. Multiple perceptual identities available to choose from, each with a different signal. You can observe reality from fear, from expansion, from neutrality, from possibility. Each one collapses a different version of events. Your point of observation is your steering wheel. It determines which of the infinite possibilities takes shape. Not because the world changes, but because you selected a different path from the quantum field. And remember, this doesn't only apply to physical matter. It applies to time too. When you think about the past, your observation changes your relationship to it. That's not psychological reframing. That's quantum activation. You shift the energy stored in your field. You open new futures because you altered the past through perception. And when you visualize the future, you're not imagining. You're selecting. You're placing observation on a desired outcome. If your frequency matches it, and your observation is coherent, the wave collapses. Events reconfigure. It's happening every time you think a thought. Every time you focus on a possibility. Every time you believe something is inevitable. Observation is not passive. It's causal. You are already influencing outcomes. You are already selecting from infinite potential. You are already designing your timeline even when you're unaware of it. So here's the shift. Stop observing by default. Start observing with intention. Start observing like a coder. Because if observation collapses probability, and you get to decide what you observe, then you have the keyboard in your hands. The universe is a responsive interface, not a fixed stage. Your awareness is the cursor. Your emotion is the voltage. Your intention is the instruction. And that means you've been coding all along, whether you realized it or not. Now that you do, you can begin doing it deliberately. This is where real quantum transformation begins. Not with external effort, but with precision observation from a coherent frequency, again and again, until reality stabilizes around your chosen path. But let's go even deeper, because knowing you're the observer is one thing. Knowing you're the coder is another. To truly code reality with clarity, you must understand the nature of the system you're coding within. And that means grasping the most powerful technology you've been given, your mind, not as a logical processor, not as a library of memories, but as a quantum system, non-linear, multidimensional, and capable of operating outside of space and time. Next, we will unpack how your mind already works like a quantum computer, and why most people have forgotten how to use it. Your mind processes reality the same way quantum systems do, non-linearly and beyond time. You've seen now that your observation sculpts reality. And that observation isn't neutral. It's coded by your frequency. But what's generating that frequency in the first place? Look no further than your most misunderstood technology, your mind. You've been told your mind is a machine, a kind of biological hard drive storing memories, making decisions, calculating risks, analyzing outcomes. That's a narrow view designed to keep you functional, not powerful. The truth is radically different. Your mind doesn't just analyze reality. It generates it, and it does this not through logic, but through quantum processes. Let's be specific. The classical view of the brain is built on linearity. One input leads to one output, like a machine that adds, subtracts, stores, and reacts. But quantum systems don't work like that. Quantum systems operate in superposition, multiple states at once. They use entanglement, instant influence across space. They function probabilistically, not deterministically. And here's the key, so does your mind. Take thought, for example. You don't think one clean stream at a time. You think in loops, flashes, contradictions, and overlaps. You can hold conflicting ideas, feel multiple emotions, imagine possible futures while reprocessing the past, all simultaneously. That's quantum. Memory isn't stored in one location like files on a drive. It's distributed across neural networks and retrieved not in straight lines, but in patterns. And when you recall something, you change it simply by bringing it into focus. That's not error. That's quantum modulation, observation shifting probability. Your imagination, that's quantum simulation. You're not fantasizing. You're collapsing waveforms into shape. You're modeling possible realities and encoding them with attention. The more emotionally charged the image, the more signal strength it gains in your field. And then there's intuition, the quiet inner knowing that doesn't come from calculation or experience. It bypasses time. You know something without knowing how you know it. That's not magic. That's quantum data retrieval from the field. When you recognize these patterns, you stop underestimating the power you're sitting on. Your mind is not an overthinking mechanism. It's not a stress factory. It's not just a logic engine. It's a quantum interface, a command terminal for shaping timelines. But here's the problem, and the reason most people never access this power. They forgot the language. They've filled their minds with noise, habitual thoughts, looping worries, stale beliefs. The original code has been buried under mental clutter, social programming, emotional residue, and unchallenged narratives. So the mind, instead of acting as a precise quantum tool, runs like a corrupted system, slow, reactive, fogged. But the system isn't broken. It's just jammed with old commands. To restore it, you don't need therapy alone. You need clarity of frequency. You need clean focus, elevated emotion, and intentional silence. You need to use your mind like a quantum computer with precision, discipline, and trust in its nonlinear power. This means unlearning the old interface. Stop trying to figure things out in straight lines. Stop trying to predict outcomes with logic alone. Stop assuming more thinking leads to better answers. Instead, start practicing quantum operations. Hold multiple possibilities at once without collapsing into fear. Use visualization not as fantasy, but as waveform selection. Let the subconscious do the heavy lifting. It's already operating across dimensions. The conscious mind is the operator. The subconscious is the quantum processor. And when they align, the results don't just change, they accelerate. Let's take decision-making as an example. In a classical system, decisions are made by evaluating options based on known variables. It's slow, it's cautious, it's based on the past. In a quantum system, decisions are sensed. The energy of a path is felt before it unfolds. The future is not predicted, it's selected. That's why truly powerful decisions often come in a flash, beyond words. That's quantum signal recognition. This is why the most important work is not in asking, "What should I do?" It's in tuning your signal so clearly that your field broadcasts instructions into the system, and the system responds with paths, people, and opportunities that match your chosen state. Now let's talk about thoughts again, because in a quantum mind, thoughts aren't neutral. Each thought is a particle, a probability wave, a signal embedded with intention, emotion, and expectation. Think it once and it's light. Think it daily and it becomes dense. The most repeated thoughts form gravitational pulls in the quantum field. They generate momentum. They become the attractors around which your life orbits. And this is where the commands come in. Most people forgot how to consciously write code. They don't choose thoughts, they recycle them. They don't activate the future, they rehearse the past. They aren't selecting timelines, they're defaulting to patterns. But once you understand that your mind is a quantum interface, you stop thinking reactively and start thinking architecturally. You select thoughts like tuning forks. You choose internal dialogue like command lines. You visualize like you're rendering blueprints. And the more coherent your internal quantum signal becomes, the more immediate the external response. It's not about intensity. It's about alignment. A single clear command from a coherent field is more powerful than 1,000 scattered affirmations. So the question is, are you thinking like a machine or coding like a quantum architect? Because your power doesn't lie in how hard you think. It lies in how cleanly you select, how precisely you focus, how deeply you trust the unseen processes you've already activated. You are not waiting on the universe. The universe is waiting on a clear signal from you. So now that you understand the architecture of your quantum mind, let's bring the next key element into focus. If the mind is the computer, then attention is the cursor, and attention doesn't just select, it writes. Next we will explore how your focus determines which probabilities collapse, and how to aim that focus with the precision of a quantum laser. Focus is not passive, it collapses probability into form. Learn how to aim it like a laser. You've seen that your mind operates as a quantum computer, a multidimensional system constantly processing possibilities and collapsing them into reality. But even the most powerful system needs an interface, a way to select, to highlight, to activate. That interface is your attention. Attention is not just a spotlight for your awareness. It's not simply a matter of where your mind goes. Attention is the most powerful instrument you've been given, a cursor that writes the code of your unfolding reality. When you place your attention on something, you energize it. You give it structure. You begin collapsing waveforms into form. That which you continuously observe becomes denser, more coherent. It starts to root itself in the field and reflect outwardly. This means attention is not just a function of consciousness. It's an instruction to the universe. Whatever you focus on becomes magnetized in your field. But here's the part most people miss. You're never not focusing. You're always aiming attention somewhere. The problem is, most of it is unconscious. Scrolling, worrying, ruminating, comparing, remembering what went wrong. All of this is attention. It might feel passive, but it's not. It's collapsing versions of reality in real time, reinforcing timelines, embedding vibrations, and feeding frequency loops. So the real question isn't whether your attention is active. The question is it working for you or against you? When you give your attention to limitation, you charge it. When you give it to expansion, you energize new possibility. When you hold it on a desired reality with coherence and clarity, you write it into the field. But attention requires discipline, because in today's world, your attention is under constant assault. Notifications, headlines, arguments, noise. It's all designed to fragment your focus. The more scattered your attention becomes, the more scattered your frequency. and scattered frequency collapses nothing. Incoherent attention equals incoherent field. That's why certain people seem stuck no matter how hard they try. It's not because they're doing the wrong things. It's because their attention is splintered across timelines, outcomes, fears, and external chaos. Nothing holds long enough to form. But when your attention becomes precise, something shifts. A stillness emerges. A field stabilizes. The signal sharpens. And the quantum responds. Let's look at how this works on a practical level. Say you're visualizing a goal. You focus on it for 10 minutes in the morning, then spend the rest of the day obsessing about whether it's working, doubting your ability, reacting to unwanted triggers, and questioning your worth. The signal you're sending? Incoherent. Now contrast that with someone who doesn't just visualize, but maintains the emotional signature of already having the outcome. They keep their attention on what they want, not on its absence. They stay in signal. They stay in state. They hold their attention like a laser. This is the person who collapses the desired timeline. Not because they're better, not because they work harder, but because their attention is clean. And clean attention writes directly into the quantum. It's like aiming a cursor on a screen. Every place you hover, every place you click, every place you stay focused long enough, becomes selected. Now multiply that power by the field you are, and you understand the weight of where you place your awareness. This is why sacred texts, mystery schools, and now neuroscience all emphasize the same principle. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. Not because it sounds nice, because it's quantum law. Now let's break attention into its two main types, scattered and sustained. Scattered attention is reactive, fragmented, and easily hijacked. It flips between thoughts, bounces between fears, and spreads across timelines without coherence. It leads to fatigue, anxiety, and inconsistent outcomes. Most people live here. Sustained attention, on the other hand, is deliberate, anchored, and resonant. It holds. It deepens. It begins to tune the field. It sharpens your internal frequency, aligns you with your chosen outcome, and creates the conditions for manifestation. When you master sustained attention, you stop chasing outcomes and start attracting alignment. This is why mindfulness isn't just a wellness practice. It's field training. Stillness isn't just about calming the nervous system. It's about stabilizing the cursor of attention long enough to write something new into existence. But here's another key point. It's not enough to just focus on a thing, you must tune the state you're focusing from. If you give your attention to a vision while in fear, you encode fear into it. If you give attention from lack, your field registers lack. But if you hold attention from coherence, from elevated emotion, inner alignment, and clarity, then your field locks onto that signal and begins shaping it into form. You're not just writing with focus. You're writing with frequency. The two must match. So ask yourself this: what do I focus on repeatedly? What emotions do I pair with that focus? And what story is my field writing, even when I'm not speaking? You can shift this instantly. You can begin, right now, to train your attention like a quantum instrument. You can remove it from timelines that drain you. Withdraw it from problems you've outgrown. Direct it toward futures you choose to claim. And hold it there until they become real. No more testing the water with doubt. No more glancing at the future while staring at the past. Attention must be focused like a laser and saturated with conviction. When you do this, your field stabilizes. And when your field stabilizes, reality follows. But there's one more layer to understand. Because your attention is not just choosing possibilities. It's interacting with something far more mysterious. Something encoded into the very nature of the universe. You're not creating from scratch. You're selecting from a structure. That structure is holographic. It's fractal. It's encoded. Next, we will explore the idea that reality itself is a hologram, and that you are not just observing it. You are projecting it. Scientists now say the universe behaves like a hologram. That means it's encoded, and you are the decoder. It may seem like a stretch at first, the idea that everything around you, this world you see, touch, measure, and navigate daily, is not solid, not even real in the way you've been told. But modern physics and ancient metaphysics are converging on a single truth. Reality is not made of things. It is made of information, and that information is organized holographically. That means this entire world, your surroundings, your relationships, your limitations, your opportunities, functions like a hologram, a projection created from encoded patterns stored non-locally. Now here's what makes that revolutionary. In a hologram, every part contains the whole. You can cut a piece of a holographic image in half, and each half still contains the full image, just at a lower resolution. This property is called distributed encoding. It means you are not a piece inside the universe. You are a reflection of the entire universe in motion. So when you look around and see limitation, when you encounter patterns that repeat, when you feel stuck in cycles that seem external, you're not trapped in someone else's system. You're interacting with a holographic projection, one being generated from the code stored in your own field. Let that sink in. The world you perceive is not outside you. It is decoded through your consciousness. The external is not fixed. It's rendered through frequency and focus. Here's where this gets even more real. Your brain, your senses, your mind, they don't directly experience the world. They process electromagnetic data, interpret vibrations, and construct a visual and emotional simulation. You don't see what's out there. You see what's been filtered, coded, and projected by your internal system. Just like a projector, your mind receives encoded signals, decodes them based on its existing software, your beliefs, emotional patterns, subconscious filters, and then renders that as your experience of life. You're not living in reality. You're living in your version of it. And that version is customizable. This is where the real power begins to click. Because if reality is projected like a hologram, then changing what's out there means changing what's in here. You stop trying to manipulate the external. You stop thinking that control over matter creates peace. You stop chasing outcomes and instead recode the signal that generates them. Now let's break that down. A hologram is made through the interference of light waves. When two waves overlap, they create a pattern. That pattern holds information about the shape and structure of a 3D image. When light is shown back through that pattern, boom, a full image appears, even though it's not physically present. The universe works the same way. Your energy field holds patterns, emotional charges, repeated thoughts, deep beliefs. These patterns interfere with the infinite field of possibilities. And through that interference, a holographic experience forms around you. This is why two people can live in the same city, face the same economy, walk through the same environment, and experience entirely different realities. They're not in the same hologram, because they're not decoding the field with the same signature. You're not just inside a projection. You are projecting. But here's the next key truth. The hologram doesn't lie. It reflects your signal with precision. Not to punish, not to test, but to inform. The reality you see is feedback. It's a mirror showing you the quality and structure of your encoded data. This means every challenge is a signal. Every loop is a pattern revealed. Every frustration is a glitch pointing to old code. It's not just psychological. It's vibrational. When you grasp this, something fundamental shifts in how you relate to your life. You stop blaming, wishing, waiting. You start reading your hologram like an interface. You begin recognizing that every external experience is a reflection of your inner program. Not always consciously chosen, but energetically active. And from there, you can edit. You can shift attention. You can charge new frequencies. You can collapse old interference and update the field. Because remember, a hologram can't resist its encoding. It has no choice. The projection must match the pattern. Change the pattern and what you see, feel, and live changes automatically. This is not about controlling every event. It's about understanding the design. And the design is responsive. So how do you change the pattern? Where is that code stored? And what's actually running the projection? Now we enter the source layer. You're not consciously thinking, I want chaos or I want scarcity. Yet you may find it in your hologram. That's because the pattern isn't always formed by conscious thought. It's formed by deep, embedded, unconscious programming. And that programming lives in one place, the subconscious. Next, we will uncover the structure behind your personal hologram, the source code you've been running for years, often without knowing it, and how it's shaping your world from the inside out. Even when your conscious mind disagrees, 95% of your life is run by unconscious loops. You're stuck in old code. It's time to rewrite. If your reality is a hologram and you're the projector, then your subconscious is the file directory. The source code quietly executing in the background, constantly telling your field what to expect, what to allow, what to block, and what to repeat. Not because you're broken, not because the universe is testing you, because your subconscious is wired for one thing: consistency. It is the silent engine of your quantum field, always interpreting, predicting, filtering, and transmitting patterns based on what it has been taught to believe is safe, true, or real. And here's the hard truth. Most of those patterns weren't chosen by you. They were downloaded early. They were inherited from family systems, absorbed from media, coded through repetition, and crystallized through emotional charge. By the time you were 7 years old, your subconscious had already absorbed the basic structure of your identity. It locked in the settings for how much love you're allowed to receive, how much success you expect, whether the world feels safe or threatening, whether you see yourself as valuable or lacking, capable or trapped. And from that point on, your conscious mind became the narrator, not the programmer. This is why people struggle to change. They want more. They try harder. They think positively. But they keep getting pulled back into the same loops. It's not a lack of desire. It's a mismatch between conscious intention and subconscious code. When the subconscious says, "I am not enough," but your mouth says, "I am powerful," the field reads the frequency, not the affirmation. When your internal code says, "Money is hard," but you hustle endlessly to prove otherwise, the field aligns with the dominant vibration, the one buried under layers of conscious effort. Because your subconscious doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you expect. And expectation is emotion-based memory. It's not what you logically think is possible. It's what your nervous system has been trained to believe is likely. That belief system forms the architecture of your energetic field. So when we say you're living from old code, we mean your subconscious is looping instructions that no longer match who you want to become. But that code isn't permanent. The subconscious isn't fixed. It's programmable. It's programmable because it's quantum. It learns through repetition, through emotion, through symbolic imagery, and through vibrational exposure. That means every thought, every belief, every experience charged with feeling becomes part of your internal programming language. Now imagine what's been installed over decades. I always mess things up. People can't be trusted. I have to work hard to deserve anything. I'm invisible. I'm too much. I'm not enough. These phrases might never be spoken aloud, but they echo constantly in your subconscious, creating vibrational resonance that becomes the filter for how your hologram renders. The people who ghost you, the jobs that slip away, the feeling of always being almost there but not quite. These are not random. These are frequency feedback loops. So if you want to shift your projection, you don't start by forcing action. You start by editing the code. But here's the challenge. You can't outthink your subconscious. You have to access it. You have to get past the critical gatekeeper, the analytical mind, and reach the deeper layer where your frequency instructions are stored. This is why affirmations often fail. They stay in the conscious layer. They bounce off the surface. Unless they're paired with emotional charge, repetition, or altered states, they don't penetrate the source code. To rewrite the subconscious, you need to go where the code lives. This can happen through several doorways. The emotional charge, high emotional states, both painful and ecstatic, create openings where beliefs are restructured. The repetition with emotion, repeating new language or imagery while feeling elevated states of gratitude, love, or certainty begins to form new neural pathways. The visualization, when you see and feel a future state vividly and consistently, your subconscious begins to register it as familiar, and familiarity is safety. The breath and body-based practices, since trauma and memory live in the body, shifting posture, breath, and somatic state directly alters subconscious patterns. A hypnosis and trance, These methods lower the analytical barrier and allow suggestions to enter the subconscious more directly. A silent stillness and meditative presence. When the noise of the conscious mind drops away, space is created for subconscious content to rise and be observed, released, or rewritten. All of these techniques serve the same function. They help you locate the old lines of code, the loops that were written in the past and have been running unchecked. Because the key is not just clearing beliefs, it's replacing them. Nature doesn't tolerate a vacuum. You can't remove a limiting belief and leave the field blank. You must install a new signature. You must replace, "I always get overlooked," with "My presence is magnetic." Not just in words, but in felt resonance. When your subconscious accepts that new line as truth, everything changes. Your hologram reorganizes. People respond differently. Events align. Your emotional field calms. The signal gets clear. The timeline begins to shift. This is the quiet revolution. You don't need to fight your circumstances. You need to update the code that created them. And you have the access key. You are the coder. Now that you understand your subconscious is running the source script of your life, the next question becomes, what is the script saying about who you are? Because buried in all that code is a single assumption, the one that holds everything else in place. Your identity. And next we will break that open completely. To reveal that identity isn't fixed, inherited, or permanent. It's an illusion. And that's your greatest power. What you believe yourself to be is just a choice made long ago. Let's blow it wide open. You've just seen how your subconscious runs the invisible code behind your reality. Scripting patterns, shaping responses, and projecting your life through a vibrational filter. But behind every line of that code is a central variable. A single construct that holds the whole system in place. That construct is your identity. Not your name, not your job, not your title, nationality, or background. Your felt sense of self. The I that all your thoughts, decisions, and emotional loops report to. This identity isn't fixed. It's not written in DNA. It's not hard-coded into your soul. It's a lens. A temporary configuration of your field. A belief system you began to adopt through early experiences, reinforced over years, and eventually called me. But here's the truth. Identity is an illusion. A convincing, multisensory, emotionally charged illusion. But an illusion nonetheless. And the sooner you realize this, the faster your quantum power unlocks. You are not who you were trained to be. You are not the pattern you inherited. You are not the role you play or the mask you wear. You are the field beneath the mask. You are the presence that observes the roles. You are the frequency that can choose a new pattern. Now, let's pull this apart. Identity forms early. You receive signals, some verbal, some energetic, about what you are and what you're not. Smart or average. Good or bad. Worthy or conditional. You learn what earns love, what brings attention, what invites punishment. Your nervous system builds a map around these cues, and that map becomes your identity. I'm the quiet one. I always have to take care of everyone. I'm the rebel. I'm never the favorite. I'm not good at relationships. I'm always the one who gets hurt. These stories aren't facts. They're responses. They're code you installed as a way to survive. But you've mistaken the survival pattern for the self. You've treated your conditioning like your essence. You've fought to defend it. You've repeated it in inner monologues and outer behaviors. You've constructed a life to confirm it, because the subconscious craves familiarity over freedom. Even when the identity hurts, even when it limits, even when it suffocates, because identity provides one addictive illusion: certainty. But in a quantum universe, certainty is limitation. Because what you call you is actually a frequency pattern, and that pattern can shift. In fact, it must shift if you want to change your life. You cannot experience a new reality while remaining loyal to the same identity. You cannot shift timelines while clinging to the version of you that created the current one. This is not about pretending. This is not fake it till you make it. This is recognizing that all identity is a temporary setting, and that you, the field, can update that setting at any time. Here's the power play. Your identity isn't revealed. It's selected. That version of you who believes in their intuition. That's one frequency setting. The one who trusts their worth, walks into rooms with confidence, sets boundaries with grace. Another setting. The version of you who always ends up second best. Just a setting. The one who constantly self-sabotages when things go well. A setting. Every one of them is equally available in the quantum. Your only limitation is emotional loyalty to an old version of yourself. The field doesn't care who you used to be. The field doesn't measure personal history. The field only mirrors the identity you occupy now. So the question becomes, what version of you are you holding in place with your energy? Because identity isn't just an idea. It's a structure in the field. It has tone, charge, memory, and geometry. When you say, "This is just who I am," you're not describing, you're coding. You're telling the quantum, "Reinforce this," and the quantum listens. But you can just as easily declare something else. "I'm done living small. I operate from self-trust. I am a powerful field in motion, not a story on repeat. I am choosing a new me now." This is not spiritual posturing. The signal clarity. The moment you shift your internal allegiance from your old identity to the new frequency you choose, you begin to collapse the timeline of the past and open space for something new. But let's be clear, the old identity will fight for survival. It will tempt you with doubt. It will flood you with old emotion. It will whisper that you're faking, that you're not ready, that it's safer to stay the same. That's not truth. That's momentum. You're not feeling your truth. You're feeling your programming. The key is this: stay in the new frequency long enough for the field to catch up. Don't flinch when the old you echoes back. Don't collapse when the world hasn't shifted yet. Hold the new signal until your reality reorganizes around it. Because it will. You're not stuck because your life won't change. You're stuck because your identity won't shift. Let go of the one that suffered. Let go of the one that needed proving. Let go of the one that survived. And activate the one who creates. This is the moment you stop asking, "Who am I?" and start asking, "Who am I choosing to be now?" And here's where the truth becomes undeniable. If you can shift your identity, then you can access the other versions of you that already exist. Not just theoretically, not as a mindset, but as literal quantum possibilities. Next, we will unlock the multiverse of selves already encoded in your field, and show you how to shift into one right now. Because you're not just one you. You are infinite. You exist in infinite versions. Which one are you embodying right now, and which one could you? Everything you've learned until now has brought you to this doorway. You've seen that your subconscious is the script, that your identity is a frequency, not a fact, that your attention writes your reality, and your thoughts and emotions broadcast instructions into the field. Now it's time to reveal the next layer. You are not just one self living one life in one timeline. You are a field of infinite potential, containing multiple versions of you, all real, all available, all waiting to be activated. This is not a metaphor. This is how quantum systems operate. Let's go to physics. In quantum theory, when a particle encounters multiple possible outcomes, like passing through a slit, bouncing left or right, interacting or not interacting, it doesn't choose one. It splits into all of them. Every possible path exists simultaneously until an observation collapses one into form. That's not a limitation. That's the power of the field. You don't become something through struggle. You select it through frequency. And the same is true for you. There isn't one future version of you waiting at the end of a long road. There are infinite versions, one broke, one abundant, one anxious, one confident, one stuck in cycles, one fully free, all vibrating at different frequencies inside the field of your being. The question is, which one are you in resonance with? Because whichever version of you you feel, believe, embody, and broadcast, that's the one you collapse into reality. And this is where your power becomes undeniable. You can shift to another version of yourself now. Not in a year. Not after the healing is done. Not once everything is perfect. Right now, by tuning into the frequency signature of that alternate self. Because each version of you isn't just an idea. It's a state. It has thoughts. It has emotions. It has behaviors. It has posture, breath, language, tone, timing. The confident you speaks differently, walks differently, holds focus longer, recovers faster, makes faster decisions, breathes deeper. The intuitive you doesn't overthink. They trust. They follow cues. They listen to the field. The self-loving you doesn't tolerate disrespect. They set standards. They move away from distortion quickly. The higher income you holds different beliefs about money, value, and impact. They don't chase. They generate. So here's the key. To shift timelines, you must shift selves. This is quantum identity selection, not by faking, but by tuning. You begin by identifying a version of you who already embodies what you desire. You don't have to know how they got there. You don't even have to know the steps. You just need to know how it feels to be them. Once you feel that, once you match the emotion, posture, tone, and expectation, you've tuned your frequency. The shift begins. First, nothing may seem different, but something deeper begins to move. The quantum starts to echo back new matches. Your field becomes attractive to new events. Old patterns break without force. You forget to struggle. You stop reacting to the old hologram. And when you stay in that frequency long enough, something profound happens. You stop identifying with the old version entirely. The old thoughts no longer feel like your thoughts. The old choices feel foreign. The old behaviors become incompatible. This is not evolution over time. This is a leap in resonance. Now, how do you make this practical? First, get specific. Identify the alternate self you want to connect with. Don't generalize. More successful is vague. The version of me who earns with ease, speaks on stages, and feels lit up every morning. That's specific. Second, enter state. Close your eyes. Ask, how does that version of me feel? What do they believe is normal? What are they not even worried about? Feel it in your body. Inhabit it. Let your breathing change. Let your posture shift. Don't visualize looking at them, be them. Third, practice short intervals of immersion. You don't need hours. A few minutes of true resonance are more powerful than a full day of wishful thinking. Practice the signal, not the image. Fourth, observe what disrupts the signal. Who do you become around certain people? What thoughts pull you back to the old you? These are friction points. Don't fight them. Disengage from them. They are part of the old timeline. You don't owe them loyalty. Fifth, stabilize the new self through micro-decisions. Not massive leaps, just small, present-moment choices that reflect your new identity. How would this version of me respond right now? What would they decline? What would they prioritize? What would they expect? You're not pretending. You're syncing. And the more you hold the signal, the more the field responds. This is how quantum leaps happen. Not by fixing everything, but by selecting the you who no longer needs fixing. Here's the ultimate truth. You don't grow into your highest self. You align with them, and once aligned, the universe treats you accordingly. So now that you understand there are infinite yous inside your field, and that identity is selected, not earned, it's time to learn the science of this shift. Because jumping from one self to another isn't magic. It's quantum physics. Next, we will explore the mechanics of quantum leaping and show you how one energetic decision can accelerate your entire life. You don't grow into your future, you leap into it. And it starts with an energetic decision. You now know that you are not fixed to one self. You are a quantum field of identities, each one a frequency signature, each one living within you as a dormant possibility, waiting to be tuned. The idea that change takes time? That's classical thinking. The idea that you must earn transformation through years of effort? That's conditioning. The idea that personal evolution is linear, incremental, and measured in progress charts. That's not how quantum systems work. Quantum systems don't progress, they jump. From one probability to another. From one configuration to another. Instantly. Completely. Without needing to pass through every step in between. This is called a quantum leap. And it's not a motivational slogan. It's a real, observable phenomenon in the subatomic world, and also in your personal reality. Electrons don't travel through space between energy levels. They jump. Molecules don't evolve molecule by molecule. They reorganize into new states. And the human field, when aligned, follows the same law. But here's what separates those who leap from those who linger. Decision. Not indecision. Not hesitation. Not part-time commitment. A full spectrum, full body, full field decision to occupy a new reality. Most people think they're deciding. They say, I've chosen abundance, or I'm stepping into a new self, or I'm ready to change. But their energy is still tied to the old version. They speak new desires while scanning the hologram for old evidence. They affirm the future while reacting from past fear. They visualize from lack rather than presence. A true quantum leap doesn't come from wishful thinking. It comes from a shift in vibration so complete, so total, that the old timeline becomes incompatible with your signal. So what does that kind of decision look like? It's a non-negotiable internal pivot. Not dramatic, not loud, not necessarily visible to others, but unmistakable in frequency. It's the moment you stop referencing who you were. You stop explaining your patterns. You stop rehearsing your limitations. You stop negotiating with doubt. You stop asking for permission to change. And you simply leap. You say, this is who I am now. You mean it. You feel it. You transmit it. And the field begins responding to the new coordinates you've locked in. This leap doesn't happen in your words. It happens in your nervous system, in your breath, in the way your body holds space, in the way you enter rooms, in the silence between your thoughts. That's where the real shift lives. But here's the catch. The leap always feels like a void before it feels like a new reality. Why? Because you're collapsing one timeline before the next fully emerges. It may feel like nothing's happening. You may feel unsure, wobbly, exposed. The old self has gone quiet, but the new one hasn't landed yet. Don't retreat. The leap always requires that space. Because in that space, you're untethering from familiarity and choosing frequency over evidence. And that's the key. Quantum leaps don't follow logic. They follow energy. You leap and then your life catches up. But if you wait for your life to change first, you'll never leap. You'll loop. You'll stay in the pattern of waiting, hoping, hesitating. Here's the principle. Reality shifts after you do. It doesn't show up to convince you. It shows up to mirror you. This is why you can't think your way into a new self. You must feel your way there. You must decide and then calibrate. So how do you hold the leap? You stabilize the new frequency through behavior. You embody the new identity through action. This is not hustle. This is alignment. The version of you who already lives this new reality. How do they walk? How do they speak? What do they say no to instantly? What do they no longer tolerate? What kind of decisions feel obvious to them? You don't need to guess. That version of you is already inside your field. You just need to turn their signal up louder than your fear. That's the leap. And remember, every time you wobble, every time the old self whispers, every time the field tests your clarity, you don't fail. You re-choose, you re-enter, you realign, you return to the frequency. Because the leap isn't one dramatic moment. It's a consistent decision to stay in the new self until the field stabilizes around it. And it will, because the quantum doesn't respond to hope. It responds to instruction. So give it one, right now, not later, not once you feel ready. Ready is an illusion. Alignment is a choice. So choose, leap, transmit the signal, not just in your thoughts, but in your field. And now that you've chosen, now that your energetic decision has been made, there's one more tool that amplifies and codes the quantum faster than anything else. Language. Next, we will uncover how every sentence you speak is a broadcast to the field, and how mastering the syntax of your reality turns your words into spells. Every sentence you speak is a spell. Learn how to speak in quantum. You've made the leap. You've tuned into a new identity, matched a new frequency, and started broadcasting a signal aligned with your future. But there's one tool you're using every day, constantly, unconsciously, that's either reinforcing the leap or undoing it. Your words. Language is not just communication. is coding. Every phrase you speak sends instructions into your field. Every sentence becomes a frequency stamp. Your vocabulary is not neutral, it is vibrational. It either matches the quantum leap you've taken or drags you back to the timeline you're trying to exit. Let's make this clear. Words are not labels. They are generators. They activate or deactivate potentials. They align your field or distort it. They open doors or reinforce old locks. You're casting energetic votes with every phrase that leaves your mouth. So when you say, "I'm stuck. I'm tired of this. This always happens to me. I just can't figure it out. That's just how I am." You're not describing your reality. You're scripting it. Each of these phrases acts like a line of code in your subconscious. It doesn't just express how you feel. It reconfirms the hologram. It tells your field, "Keep projecting this. This is still me. Don't change anything." And the field listens. Every time. Now let's flip that. When you speak from your chosen identity, the one you tuned into during your quantum leap, your words become activation codes. I'm clear. I already know what to do. My timeline is aligning right now. This version of me feels inevitable. I'm done repeating what no longer serves. These aren't affirmations. They're not positive thinking. They're linguistic tuning forks. When you speak them from coherence, not desperation, you vibrate the field with new instructions. The more you speak in alignment, the faster the field reconfigures to reflect that alignment. But here's the key. It's not just what you say, it's the state you say it from. You can't fake frequency. Saying, "I'm abundant," while your nervous system is flooded with fear doesn't fool the quantum. The field doesn't listen to tone. It listens to truth, vibrational truth. You must match the words with the feeling, the breath, the belief behind them. This is why presence matters. Your presence gives your language weight, and weight is what bends probability. Let's look at 3 distortions that weaken your linguistic power and how to clear them. 1. Softening phrases. These are the little phrases you tack on to avoid owning your power. "Maybe I'll try." "I'm hoping that." "I guess I could." "We'll see what happens." These phrases drain your frequency. They show hesitation in the field. They signal split energy, and split energy collapses nothing. Replace with, "I choose." "I'm ready." "This is who I am now." "It's already moving." Command. Don't ask. Declare. Don't hedge. 2. Identity statements from the past. Every time you reference your former self, especially in absolutes, you drag your new identity back down. "I've always struggled with this. That's just the way I am. I'm not the type of person who..." These are not reflections. They are reinstatements. Replace with, "I used to think that. Up until now, I believed. The old version of me felt that way, this one doesn't." Language can honor your growth without locking in the old code. 3. Negation and lack focus speech. Your field doesn't understand negatives the way your mind does. It responds to focus. So when you say, "I don't want to be broke. I'm tired of being alone. I need this to stop," you're not repelling those realities. You're energizing them. You're putting attention on the frequency of absence. Replace with, "I'm stabilizing financial overflow. I'm aligning with soul-level connection. I'm holding a clear boundary with ease." Speak in the language of outcomes, not problems. Speak from presence, not absence. Now, this isn't about becoming artificially positive. This is about becoming intentional. You can speak pain, truth, and raw emotion from a place of power, as long as you're not speaking identity into distortion. Saying, "I feel heavy right now, but I'm still aligned with my shift," is quantum clarity. Saying, "I guess I'm just always anxious," is quantum sabotage. Your words build or break coherence. And coherence is what the field locks onto. So start listening. Audit your language. How do you talk to yourself when no one's listening? How do you explain your life to others? How do you define your relationships, your money, your mission, your value? Every word you speak becomes part of your field's instruction set. You don't need to speak perfectly, but you must speak intentionally. Speak the frequency. Speak as the identity you've chosen. not as a performance but as an anchor. Let your words become the scaffolding that your new timeline forms around. And when you find yourself reverting, pause, reframe, recode, respeak, because every sentence is a signal, and every signal is a spell. Now, once you're speaking with alignment, there's one more element you must master to fully activate your frequency in the quantum. It's the charge behind the words, the amplifier of every intention, the real power source behind every shift. Emotion. Next, we will uncover how your emotional states either tune your field into coherence or scramble your signal entirely, and how to use emotion as your most precise frequency modulator. Your emotions literally tune your signal. Joy is a higher bandwidth than fear. Learn to ride the waves. You've seen how your words are not just sounds, they're commands. You've begun to recognize that every phrase you speak either stabilizes your quantum leap, or slowly pulls you back toward the timeline you're outgrowing. But your words don't work in isolation. They only carry power when they're infused with emotional energy. Emotion is the voltage in your signal. It's the amplifier of your frequency. It's what gives your thoughts, words, and identity real magnetic pull in the field. Without emotional charge, a thought is just a signal with low amplitude, weak, flickering, easy to override. But when you infuse that thought with intense emotion, whether elevated or contracted, you send it into the quantum field as a dominant broadcast. Emotion tells the universe how serious you are. Not logically, vibrationally. So let's clear something up. Emotion is not your enemy. It's not something to suppress, manage, or numb out. Emotion is data. It's movement. It's energetic information flowing through your field. And most importantly, it's a tool. Because when you understand how to work with emotion instead of against it, you stop reacting to life and start tuning it. Let's go deeper. Your electromagnetic field, the one radiating from your heart, your mind, and your body, shifts dramatically based on your emotional state. This isn't opinion. This is measurable. When you're in fear, shame, guilt, or self-doubt, your heart rhythm becomes erratic. Your signal becomes incoherent. It's like trying to play a radio broadcast with the dial stuck between stations. All static, no clarity. Now add thought into the mix. A thought combined with fear doesn't just fizzle. It amplifies dissonance. You end up projecting from confusion. You distort the signal. You collapse probabilities you never wanted to touch. But when you're in an elevated emotional state, gratitude, joy, certainty, compassion, love, your electromagnetic field becomes coherent, harmonic, stable, powerful. Thoughts paired with those emotions carry further. They embed deeper. They shape reality faster. So emotion is not just about how you feel. It's about how clearly and powerfully you're transmitting. Let's make this practical. Say you've visualized your future self. You've crafted a vision. You've begun to speak it into form. But deep down, you're still feeling unworthy. Still trapped in resentment. Still carrying grief or anxiety. What happens? You split your frequency. And split frequency collapses nothing. Now contrast that with someone who holds a clear emotional state, who lives in the vibration of "it's already done," who feels their future self in the present moment, who breathes from peace, acts from trust, and walks through their day with vibrational alignment. That person's field is magnetic, and the quantum responds. Not later, immediately. That's why mastering your emotional state is not optional. It's fundamental. Let's map the scale. Shame, guilt, apathy, lowest coherence, almost zero magnetic pull. Fear, anxiety, control, highly chaotic, dense frequency. Anger, frustration, slightly more charge, but often directed backward. Courage, acceptance. First sign of upward momentum. Gratitude, love, appreciation, peak coherence. High frequency, high stability states. Joy, ecstasy, awe, timeline accelerators. These states warp probability quickly. And here's the key insight. You are not at the mercy of your emotions. You can generate emotional state. You don't have to wait for something good to happen to feel good. That's backward. Feeling creates experience, not the other way around. You don't feel joy because reality shifted. Reality shifts because you feel joy. That doesn't mean faking. That doesn't mean denying grief or pain. It means you become emotionally agile. You stop being loyal to the pain just because it's familiar. You stop feeding sadness out of habit. You stop rehearsing anger as identity. Instead, you learn to move emotion, to breathe it, to metabolize it, to convert it into a higher frequency without suppressing it, without bypassing it. This is emotional transmutation. And it's not mystical. It's energetic skill. Here's how you begin. Notice the dominant emotion you operate from. Not just in moments of reaction, but as a background state. Is your default setting frustration, hope, anxiety, neutrality? Interrupt the loop. When an emotion takes over that doesn't match your chosen self, pause. Name it. Breathe. Move your body. Break the pattern. Anchor the desired state. Recall a moment, real or imagined, when you felt deep gratitude, ease, joy, or certainty. Let it swell in your body. Breathe into it. Expand it in your chest. Let it take over the space where fear used to live. Pair thought with emotion. Now speak your new identity from that elevated state. Visualize your future self as if it's happening now. Hold the vibration long enough to create a coherent field. And remember, you don't need to feel perfect. You just need to stop feeding distortion. You just need to train your field to return to baseline again and again until that becomes the new normal. Because once emotional coherence becomes your default, your quantum commands become unshakable. You stop broadcasting from fear. You stop attracting from lack. You stop speaking from contradiction. And instead, you start operating like a calibrated transmitter, locked onto the signal of your highest self. So now that you've seen how emotion is the amplifier of all frequency, let's take that emotional power and plug it into something even more specific. Visualization. Because most people imagine like dreamers, but the quantum doesn't respond to fantasy, it responds to state. Next, we will show you how to visualize not like a human wishing for something to come true, but like a quantum being collapsing future timelines into the now. The key to visualization isn't pictures, it's state. Learn the quantum trick behind imagination. Let's strip away the fluff. Visualization, as most people use it, doesn't work. Why? Because they're doing it like humans wishing for something they hope will happen. Instead of quantum beings selecting what they've already claimed as real, they close their eyes and imagine a car, a house, a number in their bank account, a version of themselves speaking on stages or relaxing on a beach. They try to picture it perfectly. They use all 5 senses. They hope it'll manifest. And then, they open their eyes. Look around at what hasn't changed, and start doubting all over again. That's not visualization. That's fantasy with a side of frustration. It's not the image that manifests. It's the state. In the quantum, thought without feeling is noise. Visualization without frequency is empty signal. Pictures don't create reality, identity does. You're not trying to see the future. You're here to enter the version of you who already lives it, and let your field take care of the rest. Let's make this clear. Visualization is not a creative process. It's a collapsing mechanism. It's the moment where you select one of infinite potential timelines and match it vibrationally, not mentally, so the field begins to reflect it. You are not imagining to get something. You are imagining to stabilize a signal. So let's walk through how this actually works. Step 1. Start with identity, not stuff. Skip the external images. Go inward. Ask, who is the version of me that already lives the life I think I want? Don't think about their possessions. Think about their state. How do they feel when they wake up? What's their emotional baseline? What do they no longer think about? What comes naturally to them? Let that version of you rise in your body. Let them occupy your breath. Let them take over your posture. This is the real image. Step 2. Drop into embodiment. Now, you don't picture the scene like a movie you're watching. You step into it. You're not watching yourself walk into the room. You are walking into the room. What does the air feel like? How's your breathing? What's the emotion in your chest? Not a fantasy, a state transfer. You're not waiting to get there. You're becoming. Step 3. Hold the emotional resonance. This is the engine. You don't need to picture 100 details. You need to hold one feeling steady, clean, intense enough to saturate your field. The quantum doesn't need to be impressed by your imagination. It needs coherence. Feel the gratitude, the confidence, the ease, the inevitability. Let it charge your whole system. Let it ripple out. Now your visualization is no longer image, it's instruction. Step 4. Seal it as memory. When you finish the session, don't say, "I hope that happens." Say, "That already happened." In your field, it has. In quantum terms, that version of you already exists. All you're doing is choosing to resonate with it more often than with the version of you who doubts, delays, and detours. This is quantum alignment, not wishful thinking. Here's where people sabotage their visualization practice. They do it to get something. But the moment you visualize from a place of not having, you inject lack into the signal. You're saying, "I want this because I don't have it." The field mirrors back. You don't have it. Instead, you visualize to be someone. And when you are someone, the results must follow. Because reality conforms to identity. And identity lives in frequency. And frequency is built from sustained emotional coherence paired with clear mental architecture. Let's make this even more real. Let's say you want to visualize more financial flow. Don't start with the numbers. Start with the version of you who receives with ease, who doesn't chase, who doesn't flinch at wealth, who makes moves from surplus, not scarcity. Feel that version. Breathe their breath. Act as if the bank account is a reflection, not a cause. Or maybe it's a relationship you're tuning into. Don't focus on a specific face. Focus on you as the version who no longer doubts they're worthy. As the version who's not performing, chasing, fearing, or overgiving. Hold that version in your body. Speak from their tone. Move through your day from their pace. Now the visualization is alive. It's no longer a thing you do. It's a state you live from. And the more you live from it, the more your timeline begins to shift to match it. This is not overnight magic. It's vibrational inevitability. And when resistance shows up, and it will, don't panic. The field is just reorganizing. The old version is destabilizing. The quantum is adjusting to the new coordinates you've selected. Keep visualizing, not to escape the present, but to stabilize the future you've already chosen. And here's one final truth. The you who's visualizing a future is already being visualized by a higher intelligence inside you. So who is that version? What is that greater you with deeper access, broader knowing, expanded signal? Next, we will connect with the part of you that's been guiding all of this from the beginning. Your higher self, not as a distant voice, but as the clearest frequency you've ever known. You think it's higher because it's harder to hear, but it's just subtler. Learn to listen to your own field. You've been visualizing, embodying, speaking, shifting. You've been peeling away the false identities and replacing them with chosen ones. You've been learning to stabilize your field, modulate your frequency, and project a more aligned version of yourself into reality. But now it's time to clear up one of the biggest misconceptions of all. That the part of you with clarity, certainty, peace, and wisdom, the version that knows where this is going, is above you, outside you, or better than you. It's not. Your higher self is not floating in the clouds. It's not some spiritual hierarchy you must earn access to. It's not a wiser being handing down advice from some enlightened realm. Your higher self is you, operating at higher resolution. It's the part of you already vibrating in coherence. The version of you that isn't fractured by fear, memory, or reaction. The field of you that never bought into the illusion of limitation to begin with. You're not trying to reach your higher self. You're trying to remember it. Because even right now, as you read these words, it's transmitting. You felt it. In the moments of quiet knowing. In the times you felt absolute peace, even when everything around you was uncertain. In the instant clarity that comes before the mind kicks in and starts negotiating. That's not imagination. That's signal. And the reason most people can't hear it isn't because it's not there. It's because it's too coherent for their current frequency. Think of a radio. Your higher self is broadcasting on a clear, wide frequency band. No static, no interference. But if your field is full of noise, thought loops, emotional residue, subconscious doubt, you can't tune in. The signal is present, but your receiver is scrambled. So the work isn't to call in your higher self. The work is to quiet the static long enough to align with the signal you already are. You don't speak to your higher self like it's a parent. You become silent enough to let its signal replace your noise. This is why intuition, inspiration, guidance, and synchronicity always increase when your nervous system is calm and your emotional state is elevated, because that's when your frequency becomes clear enough to receive your own field. Let's make this real. The higher self is not above. It's expanded. It sees more options, more timelines, more nuance in what you thought was a problem, more perspective on what you thought was your limit, more intelligence in how everything is synchronizing for you. And when you match that frequency, you don't just feel better. You move differently. You say no to what used to lure you back into old timelines. You don't panic when nothing seems to be happening, because you know it is. You don't need signs every 5 minutes. You are the sign. That's what your higher self feels like, not intensity, but authority. Not loudness, but certainty. It doesn't argue with your fear. It waits until you're ready to stop arguing with yourself. So how do you listen to it? Start by noticing the subtle, the thought that lands out of nowhere, clean and quiet, before your ego jumps in. The urge to do something that seems illogical but feels expansive. The sense of, I've already done this before, when you align with your chosen path. Then, test it. Follow that signal once. Don't demand proof. Don't overanalyze. Just follow the clarity. You'll feel it. You'll feel the difference between urgency and guidance, between noise and knowing, between fear disguised as strategy and truth disguised as stillness. The more you follow it, the stronger it gets, because your higher self isn't hiding. It's waiting for you to join it on its frequency. You raise your resolution by stabilizing coherence. You reach it through inner quiet, not outer answers. Not because the answers are out there, but because they're you. This is where the separation ends. You are not your body or your higher self. You are a continuous field, a layered intelligence, capable of remembering your full expression when the distortion fades. And here's the secret. The more you act in alignment with your higher self, even when you don't feel like it, the more you become it. Because the field doesn't reward belief. It mirrors signal. So align your actions. Walk like the higher self walks. Speak like the higher self speaks. Hold boundaries like the higher self holds them. Not to pretend, but to attune. Now, once you start operating from this level of clarity, something strange begins to happen. You'll begin noticing how you're no longer bound by time in the same way. You won't just be remembering the past and guessing the future. You'll start sensing that time itself is pliable, stretchable, more responsive to intention than you ever realized. Next, we will shift our lens to something that governs your entire perception of reality. Time, and how to stop being ruled by it and start surfing it. You're not in time. Time is in you. Here's how to stretch it, bend it, and skip across it. Take a breath, because what we're about to unpack doesn't just shift how you look at clocks, calendars, or aging. It shifts how you relate to reality itself. Time is not linear. Time is not fixed. Time is not moving you forward. You are not in time. Time is in your field. You experience it as if it's outside you, ticking forward, unchanging, unstoppable. But that's a sensory illusion. The truth is this. Time is a perceptual frame your consciousness uses to navigate frequency shifts. It's how your human mind sequences events so you can make sense of what's happening. But in the quantum, everything is already happening, simultaneously, spread across an infinite spectrum of now. There is no past behind you, no future waiting ahead. There is only a field of possibility, and your awareness moves through it, lighting up one segment of the hologram at a time. And the speed, quality, and direction of that movement, that's something you can influence. This is time surfing. Let's break this down. You think time is moving at a steady pace. But why is it that a moment of deep joy seems to stretch forever? And a month of stress disappears in a blur? Why does 60 seconds of silence feel longer than an hour lost in creativity? Because you are not moving through time. Time is stretching or compressing based on your state. Your state determines the density of your timeline. A low-frequency emotions like anxiety, boredom, fear, these compress time. You feel stuck. Everything feels slower and more out of control. A high-frequency states like creativity, flow, presence, these expand time. They create elasticity. Time feels abundant. New ideas arrive. Solutions show up. Hours pass, but you feel refreshed, not depleted. So if your state shapes time, then mastering time isn't about managing your schedule, it's about managing your frequency. This is where time surfing begins. Because once you understand this, you stop saying things like, I don't have enough time. I'm running out of time. There's never enough hours in the day. These aren't just complaints, they're commands. They are instructions to your field to collapse your timeline into scarcity. You become the bottleneck. But when you shift the language to, I am the creator of my time timeline expands as I align. Time bends in response to my coherence. Something changes. You start experiencing more space between moments. You find pockets of clarity you didn't know existed. You create time by exiting the mental state that was shrinking it. Here's the deeper layer. Because all time exists now, your past and future are not fixed events. They're frequencies. That means you can change your relationship to the past. Not just emotionally, but vibrationally. And you can access future states not by chasing them but by tuning into them now. Let's start with the past. You've been taught that what happened is unchangeable. But in the quantum field, memory is not a file. It's a frequency imprint. And every time you revisit it, you update that imprint for better or worse. So when you revisit a painful memory and feel the same emotion, speak the same story, and expect the same outcome, you're reinforcing that timeline. But when you return with a new frequency, elevated, expanded, aware, you shift its imprint. You collapse the emotional charge. You collapse the probability that it continues to recreate itself in your now. You become the editor of your history. And when you do that, you free up energy that was trapped in old versions of you, energy that now becomes available for future alignment. Now the future. Just as you can recode the past, you can sync with the future. And not some hypothetical future. A specific version of you who already exists in the field, more aligned, more whole, more actualized. That version of you isn't in front of you on some long road of effort. They're available now through resonance. The moment you feel what they feel, speak as they speak, make decisions from their frequency. You've collapsed the gap between now and later. That's time surfing. You're not moving forward. You're shifting frequency, and the timeline catches up. Let's make this real. You're staring at a goal. It looks far away. It'll take years, you say. I'm not ready. That belief creates a thick timeline. Long, linear, effort-heavy. But now you stop. Breathe. You ask, what does the version of me who's already there feel like? You tune into their body, their breath, their knowing, and you match it even for 60 seconds. In that moment, you've collapsed distance. You've surfed across the gap. You've bent time around identity. And once you do that repeatedly, not with force, but with precision, your life reorganizes to reflect the new timeline. New choices become obvious. Right people appear. Obstacles dissolve. And what looked like someday becomes now. So here's the shift. Stop measuring progress by the calendar. Stop believing you're on a treadmill of time. Start recognizing that time is not the boss. It's the servant. It responds to signal. And signal is generated by frequency. You are not bound by clocks or years or lifespans. You are a quantum being with access to all versions of self. Past, present, future, existing as patterns in the field. And once you collapse those patterns into coherence, time obeys. Now that you've seen how to bend time through frequency, let's take this even further. What if your future self isn't just a possibility, but an active participant in your current transformation? Next, we will connect directly to the future version of you who's already living your highest timeline, and show you how to borrow their power now. Want to fast-track your growth? Your future self has already done it. Let's link minds. You've learned that time isn't moving you forward, you are moving through time. You've seen how different emotional states bend the pace and feel of your reality. You've discovered that future versions of you aren't out there waiting, they already exist in the quantum field as fully formed frequencies. Now it's time to go beyond the theory and make contact, because your future self isn't a dream. It's not a fantasy. It's not a motivational tool or a mindset trick. Your future self is active, a living signal inside the field of your own consciousness, constantly broadcasting data, wisdom, instructions, and clarity from a version of reality where your leap has already stabilized. You don't have to guess what to do next. You can ask, you can link, you can receive, not because you're reaching up, but because you're tuning in. Let's reset the way you've been taught to think about guidance. Most people look outward for clarity. They ask mentors, pull cards, chase advice, wait for signs. They assume someone else knows better. But what if the most accurate guidance, the most aligned instructions, come from you in a version of reality where you've already walked the path you're standing at the beginning of now? This is the intelligence of the quantum field. Your future self has already navigated what you're trying to figure out. They already made the decision you're hesitating on. They've already cleared the loops you're still rehearsing. And their signal is available now. So how do you receive it? Step 1. Choose your future self intentionally. Don't pick the vague better you. Be precise. Identify the version of you who has embodied the specific frequency you're trying to stabilize. Maybe it's the you who's calm in chaos. Maybe it's the you who leads without apology. Maybe it's the you who trusts life. Maybe it's the you who's financially aligned, emotionally integrated, spiritually anchored. Pick one. Focus. Step 2. Drop into state. Sit still. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply into your heart, your gut, your spine. Let the thinking mind soften. Let expectation go quiet. Feel your field. Now ask one question only. Show me who I am when I've already stabilized this. And wait. Don't force it. Don't imagine a scene. Let it rise. You may get an image, posture, a phrase, a temperature shift, an emotional state. This is the signature of your future self, beginning to land in your nervous system now. Step 3. Invite them in. Say aloud or silently, I allow this version of me to take the lead. You're not pretending. You're linking timelines. You're allowing their knowing to override your fear, their clarity to quiet your noise, their decisions to become your actions. You may feel subtle shifts in breath, a sudden sense of course. An idea landing from nowhere, a pull to act, calmly with conviction without second-guessing. Follow it. Step 4. Borrow their patterns. You don't just channel their vibe. You imitate their mechanics. How do they speak? How do they handle interruptions? What do they no longer say yes to? What is their relationship with uncertainty? These details matter, because you are not just playing pretend, you are retraining your body and mind to function from that frequency. You're taking neural pathways that used to fire in doubt and rerouting them through alignment. You're breathing like the future self, walking like them, setting boundaries like them, choosing relationships like them. And the more you do, the more you become them. Because your field doesn't know the difference between now and then, it only knows the signal. And once you match that signal consistently, your outer world begins to shift to mirror it. This is quantum rehearsal, not for performance, but for identity stabilization. You're not visualizing something new. You're activating what's already coded in your field. And when that connection is strong, when you can feel your future self's presence like a frequency under your skin, they become your internal compass. You no longer collapse into doubt. You no longer make decisions from fear. You no longer need reassurance, because you're receiving clarity directly from your own future timeline. And what does that give you? Speed, precision, calm, power. You move faster because you skip the trial and error loops. You trust more because the knowing isn't coming from your current limitations. It's coming from the version of you who already moved through them. And yes, this connection becomes clearer the more you honor it. When you act on the guidance, the signal strengthens. When you ignore it, the volume fades. The field responds to coherence, not hope. So choose to trust it. And here's the real breakthrough. Your future self isn't just a temporary guide. They're a gateway to an entire field of intelligence you've been disconnected from. But to stay in that link, to hold the connection, you have to clear the static. Because no matter how strong your future self signal is, if you're still tangled in past trauma, unresolved emotional residue, and energetic debris, you're still broadcasting interference. Next, we will clear the signal completely by collapsing the frequencies of trauma, entanglement, and distortion that are jamming your field, so that nothing stands between you and the future you've already chosen. Trauma isn't just memory, it's tangled quantum energy. Let's collapse those waveforms. Up to now, you've been tuning your frequency. You've reselected identity. You've visualized timelines, felt your future self, and started acting from their signal. But there's one layer that, if left unaddressed, will distort everything. Interference. Think of your quantum field like a broadcast tower. It's constantly emitting frequency, encoded with your beliefs, emotions, and expectations. But if there's unresolved trauma looping in the background, your signal is scrambled. You're trying to transmit clarity, but you're sending noise. That noise isn't always loud. Sometimes it's subtle. It hides in hesitation, distraction, procrastination, self-sabotage, hypercontrol, emotional shutdown, or fear of visibility. It masks itself as logic, camouflages as caution. It shows up as your reasons, but underneath it is uncollapsed quantum entanglement. Let's make this real. Trauma is not just something that happened. It's something that's stuck in your nervous system, your field, your subconscious. It's an unprocessed event that got locked into your frequency as an ongoing instruction. The trauma said, "Don't speak up." The field heard, "Safety equals silence." The trauma said, "Love equals abandonment." The field heard, "Keep attracting those who leave." The trauma said, "Being powerful is dangerous." The field heard, "Dim your light to survive." These patterns don't live in your memory. They live in your field as persistent, unintegrated frequencies. That's why even when you're consciously doing everything right, something still blocks you. Something invisible. Something stubborn. Something that keeps dragging you back to the version of yourself you thought you'd already left behind. It's not a failure. It's not resistance. It's residue. Trauma is uncollapsed energy. And your job isn't to fight it, avoid it, or override it. Your job is to meet it with enough presence and coherence that the loop finally ends. So how do we do that? Step 1. Recognize interference as signal. Triggers are not interruptions to your growth. They are invitations to clean the channel. When something pulls you off your chosen frequency, pause. Notice the emotion. Name it without judgment. Then ask, where does this belong in the old story? Step 2. Shift from reactivity to observation. Instead of collapsing into the pain, step back. Not from dissociation, but from witness consciousness. Feel it, yes, but don't become it. This allows the wave to move. And once it moves, it begins to lose charge. The loop begins to weaken. Step 3. Disentangle the false meaning. Trauma hardwires conclusions. This happened. Therefore, I am unsafe, unworthy, unlovable. But those conclusions are distortions. You're not healing what happened. You're clearing the meaning it left behind. Speak the truth back into your field. Say, that event shaped me, but it does not define me. Say, that emotion was real, but the story it built is optional. Say, that wasn't my fault, but it's now my frequency to clean. Step 4. Collapse the old identity. Every trauma is tethered to a version of you, a self who felt powerless, confused, alone. When you revisit the memory with the presence of your current self, your aware self, your integrated self, you reclaim power. You don't relive it. You rewrite it through vibration. You update the field with a new anchor. This is no longer who I am. Step 5. Install a new signature. Nature abhors a vacuum. When you collapse the old signal, you must replace it. Choose a new phrase, a new posture, a new emotional baseline. I am safe now. I speak with ease. I trust my expansion. My body no longer has to protect me from the past. Then breathe that in. Flood your system with that frequency. Visualize your future self receiving it from you now. Because here's the deeper truth. Trauma is a form of energetic time distortion. It anchors you in a past moment and keeps projecting it forward. But when you clear it, the timeline collapses. Suddenly, what felt stuck for years dissolves. People respond differently. Decisions become obvious. Energy returns. Flow resumes. Because the static is gone. The frequency is clean. The field can finally broadcast the version of you you've been trying to stabilize. This is not about fixing. This is not about healing forever. This is about deactivating interference so the real you can come online. You are not your trauma. You are not the identity that formed around it. You are the one collapsing its hold. And when you do, you finally become the source of your timeline. So now that you've cleared the residue, dropped the loops, and released the interference, you're ready to issue a new instruction. Clearly, cleanly, and with power. Next, we will unlock the full force of quantum intention. Not the kind that sits on vision boards, but the kind that locks onto timelines like a targeting system and reprograms the field to match. Goals are weak. Intentions are frequency anchors. Learn how to set them to lock onto timelines. Now that your field is clearer, the interference is lowered, and you're operating from alignment instead of residue. It's time to stop aiming randomly. You're not here to drift. You're not here to see what happens. You're not here to throw energy at vague desires and hope something sticks. You're here to issue commands into the quantum field, deliberate, clean, coherent instructions that lock your consciousness onto a timeline. And don't let go. This is the difference between casual wishing and quantum intention. A goal says, I hope to achieve this. An intention says, this is the frequency I hold. This is the reality I stabilize. A goal chases. An intention anchors. That anchoring, not effort, is what shapes timelines. Let's make it simple. In quantum mechanics, every possibility exists. That means your desired outcome isn't something you might create. It's a frequency that already exists in the field. But frequencies don't come to you. You go to them through resonance. And resonance requires clarity. Resonance requires consistency. Resonance requires signal lock. This is the job of your intention. When you set an intention with full coherence, mind, body, emotion, language, and behavior aligned, your field begins tuning to that version of reality. And once the tuning stabilizes, it has to show up. It's not spiritual hype. It's energetic law. So how do you set intentions at the quantum level? Not with long journaling sessions. Not with wishful mantras. Not with mood boards full of yachts and sunsets. You set intention by sending a signal the field can't ignore. Here's how. Step 1. Choose a singular, clean intention. Clarity collapses probability. Vagueness diffuses signal. Don't set 5 conflicting intentions at once. Don't say, I want more money, love, confidence, and a new city. The field doesn't respond to confusion. Pick one frequency to stabilize first. Example, I intend to operate from unshakable self-trust. Example, I intend to experience financial overflow as a normal state. Example, I intend to live from the vibration of joy, not pressure. The more subtle the frequency, the more powerful the result. Step 2. Speak it into your field. Not as a hope, not as a wish, as a command. I choose this now. This is already vibrating in me. I allow this to stabilize. Say it from your spine, not your throat. Say it like the version of you who already lives it. Step 3. Charge it with emotional coherence. Remember, thought is the blueprint. Emotion is the voltage. You must feel the state of the intention already realized. Not in the future. Now, let the intention vibrate in your chest. Let it alter your breath. Let it infuse your posture. Let your nervous system say, yes, this is safe to hold. Now it's no longer a sentence. It's a broadcast. Step 4. Seal it with non-negotiable action. Intention without behavior is weak. You must align how you move with what you've declared. Ask yourself, what would someone do today if they fully believed this intention was already real? Do that, even in small ways. Micro-movements count. One clean boundary, one brave decision, one bold silence. These are how intentions materialize, because action is how you tell the field, I'm not waiting for confirmation, I'm acting as the signal now. Step 5. Refuse to wobble. This is the test. Your intention will be challenged, not by the universe, but by your own momentum. Old doubts will rise. Old timelines will echo. The hologram will try to replay its favorite scenes. That's when you anchor deeper. You don't fight. You refuse to shift. You say, I don't collapse just because the old story is louder. I'm not reacting to reality. I'm reshaping it. This intention is already done in the field. I'm just holding it until the feedback catches up. This is what separates quantum creators from casual manifestors. They set the intention once with full alignment and then live it. Not check on it. Not babysit it. Not adjust it based on what appears. They hold it until the field reflects it. That's what it means to become unshakable. Here's what you must understand. You're not setting intention to get results. You're setting intention to become a match for the result that already exists. Once you match, it's not attraction. It's inevitability. You don't have to convince the universe. You don't have to force outcomes. You don't have to hustle to prove your worth. You have to lock onto the frequency and hold the field. That's quantum leadership. That's energetic authorship. That's how timelines bend. And now that you know how to set intention with precision, you're ready to understand what most people don't, that every moment of hesitation, every choice, every shift in energy creates a fork in your timeline. Next, we will expose the architecture of parallel timelines and show you how to consciously jump tracks without resistance, without delay, and without needing permission. Every decision opens a split. Most people repeat the past. Here's how to jump tracks consciously. Let's drop the illusion once and for all. You are not on a single timeline. You are not stuck on a predetermined path. You are not bound by what is. The version of your life you're experiencing right now is just one probability stream out of infinite ones already encoded in the quantum field. This isn't fantasy. This is mechanics. Every time you make a decision, every time you shift emotional state, every time you change your dominant frequency, you are jumping tracks. Most people aren't living on a timeline that reflects what they want. They're living on a timeline that reflects what they unconsciously repeat. They wake up every day with the same beliefs, the same reactions, the same expectations, and they wonder why nothing changes. But here's the truth. Nothing is repeating them. They are repeating themselves. This moment right now is a choice point, not metaphorically, literally. At every moment, an infinite number of versions of you already exist, versions who said yes instead of no, versions who left instead of stayed, versions who forgave instead of punished, versions who remembered who they are instead of playing small. And you don't reach those versions by wishing. You reach them by shifting your signal. Because timelines are not places. They're frequencies. When your energy changes, your perception changes. When your perception changes, your behavior changes. When your behavior changes, the hologram responds, and reality changes. Let's break it down. A timeline is not a path you walk. It's a reality track that locks in based on your dominant vibration. So if you've been carrying the frequency of doubt, fear, scarcity, guilt, even subtly, you've been tuning yourself to timelines where those themes persist. And you've been interpreting every event in your life through that lens, reinforcing the frequency which reinforces the track. That's the loop. But when you change your frequency and sustain it, you jump. Not in theory, not in imagination, in real, trackable, perceptual, lived reality. You start noticing new people. You start making different decisions without hesitation. You feel less resistance. Things show up in ways that don't make linear sense. You feel like you're walking inside a new narrative. You've changed tracks. So how do you make that shift consciously? Step 1. Identify your current loop. Ask yourself, what storyline am I reinforcing without realizing it? Is it the loop of, I always have to struggle? I can't trust people? I need proof before I act? I'm too late? I'm not ready? These beliefs are not just thoughts, they're track selectors. Write it down. Own it. Name the timeline. Then reject it. Say, that's not my timeline anymore. Step 2. Define the new frequency. Every timeline carries a unique emotional tone. If you want to jump to a timeline of expansion, joy, confidence, clarity, you must start feeling that tone now. Not waiting for evidence. Not hoping it appears. Becoming it. Because once you match the tone, you begin stabilizing the track. Ask, what does the version of me on that timeline feel like? Hold it. Even for 60 seconds. That's enough to begin bending probability. Step 3. Act from the new track. Immediately. Don't wait. Don't strategize. Make one choice that would only make sense if the new timeline were already real. Maybe that's sending the message. Maybe it's saying no. Maybe it's investing, resting, walking away, showing up, taking the mic. Don't overthink. Just shift the behavior. That one act pulls you forward faster than hours of thought ever could. Step 4. Break loyalty to the old track. This is the hardest part. Even when the new track begins to stabilize, the old timeline will try to pull you back. Not because it's stronger, but because it's familiar. Your nervous system will say, that old chaos felt safer. Your ego will whisper, don't get your hopes up. People around you will expect you to act like the version of you they've always known. This is where you must hold your field. You must refuse to regress for comfort. You must let people misunderstand your upgrade. You must not seek validation from the version of life you just left. This is how you lock in the shift. Step 5. Collapse the bridge. Most people try to keep one foot on the old timeline just in case. They don't burn the bridge. They keep options open. They doubt halfway. They talk like the old version. They keep the backup plan. That is the fastest way to kill a timeline jump. When you shift, commit. Delete the option. Close the loop. Speak only in alignment. Feel only what's coherent. Act like you're already in the new field because you are. And here's what happens when you do. Life starts moving differently. People show up who wouldn't on the old track. Opportunities arrive without logic. Things you've been trying to fix solve themselves. And you no longer need proof because you feel it. You are it. This is how quantum creators live. They're not just choosing better thoughts. They're shifting entire probability landscapes by taking responsibility for their frequency and holding it until reality has no choice but to mirror it. So now you see the mechanism. Timelines don't need time. They need coherence. But coherence isn't just about intention. It's about internal unity. Because if your mind is saying one thing, your body is doing another, and your emotions are swirling in a different frequency entirely. You're splitting your energy. And split energy collapses nothing. Next, we will show you how to become a magnetic transmitter of quantum alignment. By mastering the art of energetic coherence, the key signal the universe listens to. Coherence is when your heart, mind, and body vibrate in unity. That's the signal reality obeys. Up until now, you've started unlocking some of the most advanced truths about your nature. You're not stuck on one life path. You're already connected to infinite versions of yourself. And when you act from the right frequency, you jump tracks into entirely different realities. But even with all this power, one question remains: why does it sometimes work? And other times it doesn't. Why does one intention manifest with speed and clarity, while another seems to stall, fizzle, or never arrive? The answer is simple: energetic coherence. When your internal systems, your thoughts, emotions, physical state, and subconscious programming are misaligned, your field becomes scrambled. You emit a fractured signal. You say one thing, feel another, act differently, and wonder why nothing changes. But when all parts of you vibrate in harmony, when your frequency becomes internally unified, your signal becomes sharp, stable, and impossible to ignore. The quantum responds to that kind of clarity, not to wishes, not to hustle, not to obsession, to coherence. Let's make this real. Your heart, brain, and gut each generate electromagnetic fields. They're not just passive organs, they're resonance generators. The heart alone produces a field that extends several feet beyond your body. And when that field is chaotic, stress, worry, doubt, it sends dissonant signals to the rest of your system. Your brain starts interpreting noise. Your actions come from compensation instead of clarity. And your intentions, no matter how positive, lack the resonance needed to land in the field. But in states of coherence, when your breath is smooth, your thoughts are focused, and your emotional state is elevated, your heart and brain sync. And when they sync, you become a broadcaster. Your entire field becomes congruent. Every part of you says the same thing, and reality starts shifting fast. This is not visualization. This is not affirmation. This is signal generation. So how do you create coherence? Step 1. Bring your awareness to your heart. Close your eyes. Slow your breath. Place your hand on your chest. Breathe into that space 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. Let your attention rest there. This alone begins to shift your field. Step 2. Add an elevated emotion. Think of something that evokes gratitude. Not a thought, a feeling. Let it rise in your chest. Let it wash through your system. Saturate your body with it. This is the voltage of coherence. It plugs the emotional charge into the signal. Step 3. Pair it with clarity. Now, from that heart space, recall the version of you who is already living your chosen reality. Feel their certainty. Feel their rhythm. Feel how normal the outcome already is for them. Let the emotion and the vision link. You've now created an internally synchronized broadcast. This is the sweet spot where creation becomes inevitable. Step 4. Hold the field. Don't rush out of it. Hold the state for 2 minutes. Then 3. Then longer if possible. The longer you maintain coherence, the stronger your field becomes, and the faster reality conforms to match it. And this isn't something you do once a week. This is a daily calibration. You're not fixing yourself. You're not chasing results. You're generating resonance so that every thought, every word, every movement is emitting the same frequency. That's how reality knows what to mirror. Step 5. Anchor coherence into your behavior. Your actions must match your field. You can't meditate in the morning and then speak like a victim by noon. You can't hold gratitude in the breath and then complain in your conversations. You can't visualize clarity and then make choices from fear. Behavior either confirms or scrambles your signal. So choose congruence. Not perfection, alignment. Your nervous system knows the difference. The field knows the difference. Life starts reconfiguring around you accordingly. And here's the most beautiful part. Once you've stabilized energetic coherence, you become magnetic, not because you're trying to attract, but because you're no longer repelling. You're no longer sending out conflicting instructions. You've become one clear signal, one unified broadcast, one coherent identity. And from that state, you don't chase opportunities. They align. You don't search for answers. They drop in. You don't force change. You embody it. This is the unlock. This is the leverage point. This is what most people skip when they try to manifest. They focus on outcome instead of output. They focus on results instead of resonance. But now you know the key. And once your energetic system is unified, you unlock the next level of power. You become a transmitter not just of thought or feeling, but of intentional frequency. Next, we will activate your full quantum field as a conscious signal tower and show you how to broadcast deliberately into the hologram so that the field has no choice but to respond. You're always broadcasting, now learn how to transmit intentionally like a quantum tower. You've felt it now. You've touched the power of alignment. You've seen how coherence isn't some mystical ideal. It's your natural state when you're no longer fragmented by past programs, split intentions, or reactive emotions. But here's the shift that changes everything. You're not just receiving reality. You're projecting it. You are a walking transmission tower, constantly pulsing energy, belief, memory, and identity into the quantum field. And the universe? It doesn't respond to your thoughts. It responds to your signal. It reads your field, not your words. And right now, whether you're aware of it or not, you are broadcasting a vibration that is organizing your experiences, sculpting your interactions and selecting your timeline. So let's make the unconscious conscious. Let's stop being accidental transmitters of fear, shame, delay, doubt, or indecision, and start broadcasting deliberately. Let's turn you into a signal that cannot be ignored. To begin, you have to understand how your field works. Your field isn't imagination. It's not metaphorical. It's electromagnetic, measurable, real, and responsive. Everything from your breath, your posture, your tone of voice, to your dominant emotional state contributes to this field. You're never not transmitting. The only question is, are you sending out the signal of your past? Or of your chosen future? Here's how you activate the field with intention. Step 1. Identify the core frequency of the reality you want to live. This is where most people go vague. They say, I want abundance. I want love. I want purpose. That's not a frequency, that's a concept. Frequency lives in specific emotional states. So instead, ask, what does my most aligned life feel like? Maybe it's freedom. Maybe it's deep calm. Maybe it's sovereignty. Maybe it's ecstatic gratitude. Maybe it's quiet, anchored knowing. Name it. Feel it. Own it. That becomes your broadcast tone. Step 2. Enter your body as the source of the signal. You can't activate your field from your head alone. Thoughts set the direction, but embodiment sets the tone. So shoulders back, spine tall, breathe deep into your center, drop into your gut, let your chest soften and open. Feel the frequency you chose filling your entire system. You're not waiting for it to happen. You're generating it. Now your body becomes the antenna. Step 3. Speak and move as the transmitter. When you speak, use the tone of someone whose frequency is stabilized. Your voice carries vibration. Every sentence is either reinforcing your field or disrupting it. So cut phrases like, I don't know. I hope it works. I'm trying. I'm figuring it out. Replace them with, this is aligning. I trust what's unfolding. I choose this frequency. I'm already resonating with that reality. Your words are not descriptions. They are commands. Move the same way. Every gesture, step, glance. Choose to carry it from your chosen frequency. That's not performance. That's precision. Step 4. Visualize from the field, not for it. Most people visualize to try and make something happen. You are now visualizing as a transmitter. You're not imagining a better future. You are selecting a timeline and locking onto it by holding the emotional and energetic posture of the version of you who already lives there. It's a declaration, not a request. I see it. I feel it. I am aligned with it. Therefore, it must reflect. Step 5. Sustain the frequency longer than the world can contradict it. This is where signal becomes dominant. Because in the beginning, the external reality may lag. You'll emit a new signal, but the world might still echo back the old one. That's not failure. That's inertia. Your job is to outlast the delay. Hold the field. Stabilize the vibration. Refuse to collapse when the hologram tests your commitment. Because the moment your new signal becomes more real than your old conditioning, reality rearranges, and suddenly conversations change. People treat you differently. Opportunities align. Blocks dissolve. The universe starts echoing you, not the version of you you used to be. That's when you've shifted from receiving to commanding. You are no longer reacting to energy. You are generating it. You're not waiting for alignment. You're transmitting it from the inside out. And now that you're tuned to this level, a unified, stable broadcaster of deliberate frequency, you unlock something subtle but powerful, your ability to receive data from the field in return. Because just as you broadcast, you also receive. You're not just a transmitter. You're also a receiver of non-local intelligence. Next, we will tap into your innate quantum sensitivity and teach you how to sharpen your intuition into a reliable channel for data, decisions, and direct access to quantum guidance. Your gut isn't guessing, it's receiving quantum signals from the field. Here's how to sharpen that signal. You've been activating. You've been transmitting. You've been holding frequency with intention so clear it bends timelines and reshapes your environment. But now, a question emerges. How do you know when to move? How do you know what path to take, what word to say, what signal to follow? When logic has no clue, that's where intuition enters. And it's not mystical. It's mechanical. Intuition is not a feeling. It's not a guess. It's not luck. It's non-local data recognition. You are a quantum receiver built to pick up signals from beyond your five senses. You are designed to know things before they happen. You are designed to sense shifts that logic can't explain. You are designed to receive signals that aren't being sent through physical means, because they already exist in the field. And when your field is coherent, when your system is clear, when your signal isn't clouded by fear, doubt, or distraction, that intuitive channel becomes undeniable. You just know, not because you calculated it, but because you tuned into it. Let's break it down. Intuition happens when your consciousness picks up on quantum patterns faster than your mind can explain them. It's instant pattern recognition, a gut feeling that someone isn't aligned, an inner yes before you even hear the full offer, a pull toward a place, a project, a pivot for no rational reason. These moments are not random. They're your system translating subtle field data into immediate internal awareness. The problem is, most people ignore it. They override the knowing. They second guess. They explain it away. They ask everyone else for permission. And every time they do, the signal gets weaker. But you're here to reverse that. You're here to make your intuition louder than logic, not because it shouts, but because you finally listen. Here's how to sharpen it. Step 1. Clear the static. Intuition speaks clearly, but it won't compete with your mental noise. If you're in a panic, rushing to decide, obsessing over outcomes, you've jammed the channel. So first, stop. Breathe. Drop out of your mind. Center into your gut, your heart, your solar plexus. Silence is the tuning dial. Step 2. Ask clean questions. The quantum responds to clarity. Don't ask vague things like, what should I do? Ask, what frequency is most aligned right now? What choice holds the highest integrity with my future self? What action moves me toward coherence, not chaos? Then listen for what lands before thought intervenes. That first impulse, that clean whisper, that subtle knowing, that's the one. Step 3. Track the felt sense. Your intuition doesn't live in your brain. It lives in your body. You'll feel truth as expansion, a lightning, calm certainty, a quiet confidence. And you'll feel distortion as contraction, a sinking, tension, a mild unease even if the surface looks fine. Your body is your first field sensor. When you feel contraction, pause. When you feel expansion, lean in. Step 4. Follow through instantly. The longer you wait, the weaker the signal becomes. The moment your intuition speaks, act. Send the message. Change the plan. Say yes. Say no. Move. This immediate action strengthens the pathway. Your system learns. When I receive, I respond. And the field responds by sending more. Step 5. Stop asking for evidence. Intuition doesn't need backup. If you keep waiting for signs, reassurance, or other people to agree, you're outsourcing your alignment. Let go of needing the logic. Let go of the need to explain your why. Your future self already knows where this is going. Let them lead. And trust the signal even when you can't track the whole map. This is what makes quantum creators so effective. They don't waste energy negotiating with doubt. They don't need a panel of opinions. They listen, act, adjust, and stay available. Because intuition doesn't give you a script. It gives you your next resonance-based step. That's all you ever need. And when you build this kind of trust in your inner channel, something even more powerful begins to happen. You start sensing not only your own truth, but the truth of others. You become aware of connections that exist beyond time, space, or logic, the energetic bonds that link you to others across dimensions. Next, we'll explore one of the most mysterious and powerful quantum realities of all. The entanglement of souls and how your deepest relationships are written in frequency, not fate. Every close bond you've had is more than emotional, it's entangled across time and space. You've felt it, a connection that defies explanation. A person enters your life and everything shifts, as if they've always been part of your storyline. Words don't need to be spoken, you just know. Or, someone leaves, and somehow, their presence still lingers in your field. You can feel their thoughts. Their moods ripple through your day like echoes from a distance. This isn't imagination. This is entanglement. In quantum physics, when two particles become entangled, their states are linked permanently. No matter how far apart they are in space, a shift in one immediately affects the other. Now here's the part no one taught you. Human consciousness does the same. When you've truly connected with another being, through love, intimacy, trauma, shared purpose, deep attention, your fields can link. And once that bond is formed, it doesn't obey physical laws. It operates in quantum time, outside of logic, outside of distance, outside of what you can measure with the mind. This is why you sense someone thinking about you before they call. This is why you feel drained or lit up after a single message. This is why you walk into a room and feel an energy shift. Even when nothing's been said, you are not imagining that. You are entangled. But here's where your power begins. You don't have to stay entangled with every frequency you've touched. And not every energetic bond is aligned just because it's strong. Let's be clear. Strength of signal is not the same as alignment of signal. Some of your deepest connections may be anchored in past trauma, survival patterns, or old versions of you that no longer serve your highest state. And yet, those cords stay active, feeding loops that drain your power. So the work now is twofold. First, recognize the truth about your current entanglements. Ask yourself, who am I still carrying in my field? Whose emotions affect me more than they should? Who do I feel stuck with, even if the relationship ended physically? You don't need judgment here. You need awareness, because every entangled frequency you're still holding is shaping your signal. Second, clarify the tone of your connections. Not every bond is meant to be broken. Some are here to elevate, to expand, to mirror new versions of you. But others, they're residue. You may feel intense chemistry with someone, and still know they're anchoring you to a timeline you've already outgrown. You may love someone deeply, and also realize the frequency of the bond is no longer coherent. That's not cold. That's truth. Entanglement without evolution becomes entrapment. So what do? You bring the connection into consciousness. This means feeling the full presence of that person's energy without story, without blame. Noticing where it lives in your body. Asking, is this bond reinforcing the signal I'm choosing now, or distorting it? If it's aligned, beautiful. Strengthen it. If it's distorted, you clear it. And how do you clear? Not by cutting them off in rage. Not by making them wrong. Not by pretending you don't care. You clear by reclaiming your frequency. You sit. You breathe. You visualize their energy as a thread, linked to yours. Then, with complete neutrality and love, you speak in your field. I honor what was. I release what no longer serves. I call my energy back. You visualize the thread dissolving. You breathe in your own light. You fill the space they once occupied, not with absence, but with presence. Your own. Because that's the deeper truth of quantum entanglement. You can't be fully connected to your highest reality if parts of you are still tied to old timelines through people who no longer vibrate with who you are. And once those old cords are released, you feel it instantly. Your body softens. Your decisions clarify. Your intuition sharpens. Your field becomes lighter, stronger, more focused. And suddenly, you're no longer carrying the past into the present. You're no longer influenced by loops that aren't yours. You're no longer subconsciously orbiting old energetic contracts. You are whole. And from that wholeness, you can now form new entanglements not based on trauma or karma, but on conscious frequency resonance. This is where the next level of connection becomes possible. But before you can move into those higher resonant relationships, you must remove the energetic cords that are still pulling you out of alignment. Next, we'll walk through the protocol to do just that. We'll teach you exactly how to cut toxic cords and restore the integrity of your field. So your energy is finally yours again. Some energetic bonds drain you. Learn the protocol to release and realign. You've just uncovered the hidden truth of energetic entanglement. Not every connection is meant to last forever. Some bonds elevate you, others deplete you. Some people, situations, or even past versions of yourself continue siphoning your energy, long after the story should have ended. If you're feeling heaviness that doesn't belong to you, struggling with old emotional echoes, or looping on a dynamic that drains your power, chances are you have an active quantum cord. But here's your next level of freedom. You can clear it. You can reclaim every watt of your own field. And you don't need anyone else's permission to do it. Cutting quantum cords is not about rejecting people. It's about restoring sovereignty. It's about claiming your right to be a clear broadcaster, responsible for your own energy, your own frequency, your own timeline. So, let's get practical. Step 1. Identify the active cord. Notice who or what pops into your mind, especially if you feel a surge of emotion, a contraction in your body, or an echo of resentment, guilt, or longing. Where do you feel them? Chest? Gut? Shoulders? Don't judge, just locate. Say silently, I am aware of the energetic cord with name or memory. Step 2. Feel the bond fully without story. Don't analyze or justify. Sit with the sensation. Breathe into the spot where you sense the connection. Say, I honor this bond for what it gave me. I recognize the lesson, the growth, or even the pain. Give thanks. Release blame. This dissolves resistance, making the next step potent. Step 3. Visualize the cord. In your mind's eye, see the energetic thread between you and the person, place, or past version of yourself. What color is it? How thick or thin? Is it tangled, tense, or slack? Don't try to fix it. Just witness. Step 4. State your intention clearly. Say aloud or silently, I now release this cord with full compassion and gratitude. I call my energy back, fully cleansed and restored. Feel the power of your intention. This is the command the quantum responds to. Step 5. Cut or dissolve the cord. Visualize a beam of light, a pair of golden scissors, or simply your own will gently severing the thread. Watch the energy return to you. Feel it filling the part of you that once felt empty or contracted. Visualize your field growing brighter, denser, more unified. Take a deep breath. Exhale the old energy. Step 6. Anchor your own frequency. With the space now cleared, fill it deliberately. Say, I am whole. I am sovereign. My field is my own. Breathe deeply. Feel your body. Notice the difference. You may feel a surge of peace, or a wave of release, or even tears. Trust whatever arises, it's the signal shifting. Repeat this process for any other chords that arise, one at a time. Don't rush. Quality over quantity. Step 7. Seal the field. Place your hand on your heart or gut. Visualize a sphere of light around you, impenetrable yet soft. Affirm, my energy is clear, strong, and self-sourced. Only frequencies of love, truth, and resonance may enter. And know this, you never have to explain to anyone why your field feels different. You never owe an apology for reclaiming your energy. Your job isn't to carry old timelines for others. Your job is to live as a clean signal so you can serve, create, love, and expand without distortion. Because now, with your field restored, your energy is free for your own creation. This is not about isolation. This is about integrity. And with that integrity restored, you're finally ready to access abilities and intelligence that only come online when your field is truly your own. Next, you'll unlock the secret of non-local genius and discover how superhuman creativity and guidance aren't personal. They're a quantum download available to you right now. Creativity isn't personal, it's quantum download. Here's how to tap the cloud of collective mind. Now that your field is clear, your cords are cut, and your energy is finally your own, you're about to discover a truth that will forever change how you see intelligence, inspiration, and even what it means to think. Creativity isn't something you have. It's not a rare gift, a quirk of genetics, or the privilege of artists and inventors. It's a frequency you tune into. It's a data stream that exists outside your personal history and mind. It's a signal broadcast from the quantum field itself, waiting for an open receiver. This is the principle of non-local genius. You're not generating brilliance in a vacuum. You're accessing a collective cloud, a field of solutions, visions, blueprints, and breakthroughs that have always been present, just outside the reach of your habitual thoughts. Why do you get your best ideas in the shower, while walking, or after letting go of a problem? Why does inspiration strike the moment you stop forcing it? Because your conscious mind relaxes, and your field becomes receptive. When your energy is your own, free from static, trauma, and entangled cords, you're no longer limited to what you know. You're no longer drawing only from memory or old patterns. You become a node in the infinite quantum mind. Let's make this real. Every true breakthrough, whether in art, science, invention, or daily life, happens the same way. You prepare the ground. You clarify your question or intent. Then you let go. And something drops in. An image, a phrase, a sudden, unexplainable clarity. It feels like it came from you, but it arrived without struggle, logic, or rehearsal. That's quantum download. Here's how to make it intentional. Step 1. Empty the channel. Before you call in new insight, clear your mind. Meditate, walk, breathe. Whatever helps you become internally quiet. Stillness opens the bandwidth. Step 2. Set a clear question or intention. Don't just ask for ideas. Be specific. How can I resolve this challenge? What is the next step for my project? What message is needed for my audience? What is the higher solution beyond my current thinking? Clarity summons targeted data. Step 3. Relax and drop the search. Stop hunting for answers. Trust that your request is already in the field. Move your body, shift your focus. Do something that occupies your surface attention and allows deeper currents to flow. In this space, downloads happen. Step 4. Receive without judgment. The answer may come as a word, a visual, a feeling, a physical sensation, or an urge to act. Don't analyze. Don't dismiss it because it's unfamiliar or too easy. Jot down whatever lands, no matter how strange. Step 5. Act on the download. Creativity is amplified by motion. Once you receive a piece of data, implement it, even if you don't fully understand it yet. Action opens more bandwidth. Each step of movement brings in richer, more complex layers. This is why aha moments multiply when you stay in momentum. Step 6. Express the frequency. Don't hoard your downloads. Speak, write, draw, move, build. Any expression stabilizes the new frequency in your field and the collective field. You become both receiver and transmitter. Step 7. Trust the flow. Your mind may try to take credit for breakthroughs or rationalize them away. Ignore the urge to make it about personal brilliance. You are not alone in your genius. You are a participant in a field that is always offering more than you can predict. The less you claim ownership, the easier it is for the next download to arrive. This is the secret behind the most creative people in the world. They know it's not about working harder or thinking smarter. It's about tuning their field to the right frequency and trusting what comes through. And when your creativity is this open, something else becomes possible. You begin to notice that your body itself is a quantum instrument, not just a vehicle for your mind, but a living antenna that can receive, transmit, and stabilize higher frequencies. But to maintain this state, to keep downloading genius and transmitting it into your life, you need to care for your field daily. Next, you'll discover how your body is the key to maintaining this quantum connection, and how to use it as a conscious antenna for everything you wish to activate. Your cells emit and receive frequency. Let's unlock the body's quantum tech. You've begun to realize you're more than mind, your field. You've learned to access the non-local cloud of creativity and genius, channeling solutions and breakthroughs that transcend your personal history. But now, it's time to anchor this higher potential into the most overlooked quantum instrument of all, your body. Your body isn't just a vehicle you live in. It's not a biological machine carrying your brain around. It's an intelligent, living antenna designed to sense, transmit, and stabilize frequencies within the quantum field. Science already knows your body is electric. Every cell emits an electromagnetic signal. Your heart radiates a measurable field that can influence others at a distance. Your nervous system is a vast communication network, translating thoughts, feelings, and external signals into biological responses. But here's what most miss. Your body isn't passive in this process. It's interactive. Every posture you hold, every breath you take, every movement you make, broadcasts a signal into the field and shapes what you receive in return. And when your body is clear, vital, and aligned, you become a far more powerful receiver and transmitter for quantum intelligence. Let's make this practical. 1. Posture as frequency amplifier. Notice how you sit, stand, and walk. Collapsed posture equals collapsed signal. Tension equals static in the field. Open, aligned posture equals amplified broadcast, greater receptivity. Soften your shoulders, lengthen your spine, open your chest. Move with intention. Each adjustment is a micro shift in the frequency you radiate. 2. Breath as tuning mechanism. Shallow, rapid breathing traps you in stress signals, tuning your field to contraction and chaos. Deep, slow, conscious breath restores coherence. It tells your body, it's safe to receive. It opens your field to higher intelligence. Try 3 slow inhales and even slower exhales, focusing on your heart or gut. Feel the shift, subtle but profound. 3. Movement as frequency circulation. You're not meant to be stagnant. Movement circulates energy, clears static, and recalibrates your entire field. Walk, stretch, dance, shake. Anything to move energy through your system. Notice how even a few minutes of movement can change your clarity, mood, and ability to access intuition. 4. Cellular intelligence. Your body remembers frequencies long after your mind forgets. This is why you sometimes feel tension, butterflies, or off sensations when nothing seems wrong mentally. Don't ignore these signals. They are information, guiding you to shift, pause, or redirect your attention. Honoring your body's cues is honoring quantum data. 5. Nutrition as field fuel. Everything you eat and drink has a frequency signature. Heavy, artificial, or processed foods lower coherence and muddy your signal. Clean, vibrant, high-vitality foods support cellular communication and clear transmission. You don't have to follow trends. Just notice. How do you feel after you eat? Do you feel lighter, clearer, more awake? Or do you feel sluggish, heavy, numb? Eat to support your field, not just your palate. 6. Sleep and recovery as reboot. Your body's field doesn't just broadcast while awake. Sleep is when you restore, reset, and upgrade at the quantum level. Prioritize true rest. Allow your body to process, clear, and recalibrate. You'll notice downloads, inspiration, and new energy arrive effortlessly when you care for your body this way. 7. Touch and environment. Physical contact with nature, water, or another coherent field, like hugs or loving touch, can immediately recalibrate your frequency. Environments full of clutter, noise, or conflict do the opposite. Curate your surroundings to support clear transmission. A peaceful space is more than aesthetics. It's field hygiene. Here's the core truth. The more you treat your body as an intelligent, quantum antenna, the more data, insight, intuition, and creative power you receive. You stop ignoring pain or fatigue as annoyances and start honoring them as feedback. You stop treating your body as a stranger and begin partnering with it as a co-creator. And as you upgrade the body's ability to transmit and receive, you naturally begin to crave different food, movement, rest, and environments. You tune your lifestyle for quantum coherence. Which brings us to the next evolution. Now that you know your body is an antenna, how do you fuel it for maximum coherence, clarity, and quantum activation? Next, you'll unlock the science and strategy of eating for vibration. And learn how every bite can support your highest frequency. Every bite changes your waveform. Learn the foods that enhance quantum coherence. You already sense it. Food is more than calories, carbs, or trends. It's information. It's frequency. Every meal, snack, and sip is either amplifying your quantum field or scrambling your signal. The science is finally catching up to what ancient traditions knew all along. The vibrational quality of what you eat impacts not only your body, but your energy, clarity, and ability to manifest new timelines. Let's break it down. Your body is made of atoms, molecules, and cells, each vibrating at a unique frequency. The fuel you put in your body is not neutral. It's a carrier of energetic information, and your field responds to that information instantly. High vibration foods, fresh, living, unprocessed, colorful, emit a frequency that aligns, charges, and cleans your system. Low vibration foods, stale, processed, artificial, dense, carry static, heaviness, and often block your ability to feel and receive guidance from the quantum field. So how do you eat to support your quantum nature? Step 1. Honor the source. Where did your food come from? Was it grown in sunlight, with water, in living soil, or made in a lab wrapped in plastic, stripped of life force? Plants, fruits, fresh vegetables, nuts, seeds, sprouts, and clean water are all alive in a way that boxed and bagged items are not. Your field feels the difference. Choose living foods as the core of your intake. Step 2. Choose color and variety. Nature codes information into color, texture, and taste. A rainbow plate means a spectrum of phytonutrients, minerals, and vibrational frequencies. Each color targets different energy centers and systems in your body. Notice how you feel after eating monochrome versus a vibrant, colorful meal. Step 3. Minimize artificial additives. Preservatives, dyes, artificial sweeteners, and flavorings carry the frequency of disconnection. They don't match your natural resonance. When your field is clean, you'll sense the disruption. A subtle buzz of static, sluggishness, or even agitation. Opt for real, whole, simple ingredients. Step 4. Hydrate for conductivity. Water is a quantum conductor. Every process in your body depends on it, especially transmission of signals between cells and across your electromagnetic field. Drink pure, mineral-rich water. Add lemon, cucumber, or herbs to elevate the frequency. Set an intention as you drink. This water clears and charges my field. Step 5. Eat with presence. Rushed, distracted, or stress eating locks your body in fight or flight. It limits digestion, absorption, and frequency transfer. Pause, breathe, honor your food. Even a moment of gratitude or mindfulness can completely shift the energy of a meal. Step 6. Listen to your body's guidance. Your body's quantum intelligence will tell you what serves it. Notice cravings for freshness, crunch, hydration, warmth, or grounding. These are signals, not random urges. Ignore the rules and trends. Tune into how you feel after eating, not just immediately, but hours later. Clarity, energy, lightness, and emotional stability are signals of high-vibe nutrition. Step 7. Fast or cleanse as guided. Periodic rest for your digestive system allows your field to reset. This could be a simple overnight fast, a day of liquids, or just skipping heavy meals when your intuition calls for it. Notice how much more you can hear your own guidance when your system isn't overburdened. Here's the deeper truth. You don't have to be perfect. Quantum nutrition isn't about restriction, shame, or obsessing over purity. It's about awareness. Every meal is an opportunity to activate or dull your field. You may notice over time that you naturally gravitate away from what scrambles your coherence. You may lose the taste for things that dim your clarity, energy, or mood. Trust that shift. Eating for vibration means eating for integration, so body, mind, and field are in harmony. And now that you're fueling your field from the inside out, it's time to add the next layer: movement. Because the way you move, breathe, and even hold yourself is the next quantum tool to sculpt and broadcast your signature in the field. Next, we'll unlock how to use movement as a direct tool to shape your frequency. So every step, breath, and stretch amplifies your power to create reality. The way you move affects your signal, Dance, breath, and posture are quantum tools. You've begun eating for vibration, fueling your field with foods that amplify clarity, coherence, and power. But there's another key most overlook: movement. Movement is not just exercise. It's not just for fitness or flexibility. It's frequency sculpting, a way to literally shape the signal your field broadcasts into reality. Every gesture, every stretch, every conscious breath is quantum code in action. Your body is a living instrument. How you move it either broadcasts contraction or expansion, stagnation or flow. Let's break it down. Stagnant energy becomes static. When you sit for hours, hold tension, or move unconsciously, you accumulate density in your field. You feel sluggish, stuck, mentally cloudy, and less intuitive. But when you move, especially with intention, you stir the quantum soup. You clear out old energy. You shake loose patterns stuck in the body. You broadcast your chosen frequency with force. Here's how to make movement a quantum tool. 1. Conscious breath work. Your breath is a bridge between mind and body. Conscious breathing oxygenates, grounds, and aligns your field. Try this. Inhale deeply through the nose, expanding the belly. Hold for a few seconds. Exhale slowly through the mouth, releasing any tension. Repeat several times, feeling the body soften and the mind clear. You'll notice clarity and presence return fast. 2. Fluid motion. Your body loves variety. Flowing movements like dance, stretching, yoga, or simple shaking help unstick old energy. As you move, set an intention. I am clearing old frequencies and inviting in new ones. Don't worry about how you look. Feel for the shift inside. That's the real transformation. 3. Power posing. How you stand and carry yourself is a broadcast. Open, upright posture tells your system, I am safe. I am seen. I am sovereign. Try a power stance. Feet grounded, spine tall, shoulders relaxed, heart lifted. Hold it for a minute. Notice how your energy changes. 4. Micro movement. You don't need an hour at the gym to shift your frequency. Small, conscious movements done throughout the day keep your field alive. Stretch at your desk. Roll your shoulders. Move your jaw, hips, or hands. Every bit of motion is a signal, and your field responds. 5. Breath plus movement synchronization. Combine movement with rhythmic breath for amplified results. Try. Inhale as you raise your arms. Exhale as you lower them. Or walk slowly, matching each step with an intentional breath. This harmonizes the field and grounds scattered energy. 6. Dance as quantum expression. Dance is ancient technology, a direct way to recode your frequency. Turn on music that matches your desired state. Move freely, letting emotion, energy, and intention shape your body. Dance isn't just for celebration. It's a field reset. 7. Stillness as integration. After movement, give yourself a moment of deep stillness. Let the new frequency settle. Breathe. Feel gratitude for your body as a conscious transmitter. Here's the deeper insight. You are always moving, either intentionally or by default. When you move with awareness, you claim the power to sculpt reality through your body. And this isn't new. Ancient wisdom has always recognized the quantum technology of movement, breath, and ritual. Now, it's time to combine what the ancients knew with what you've remembered about the field. Next, we'll explore how ancient practices align with quantum truth, and how you can adapt those timeless tools for modern activation and daily transformation. The ancients didn't need science, they lived quantum. Let's translate their practices into your life. For thousands of years, before science could measure waves or fields, ancient cultures lived in intimate partnership with the quantum world. They may not have called it quantum, but every tradition, shamanic, yogic, Taoist, alchemical, indigenous, recognized something modern minds are only now beginning to rediscover. Reality is a field of energy. Consciousness directs it, and the body is the gateway. You've been learning how movement, breath, food, and intention shape your field. But the practices handed down by the ancients contain quantum secrets most have never noticed. timeless keys for aligning your frequency with the living intelligence of the universe. Let's unlock some of these practices and see how they work as quantum tools. 1. Breath as life force. In nearly every tradition, conscious breathing was recognized as the source of life, not just for the body, but for the soul. Pranayama, qigong, breath prayers all teach that when you control your breath, you command your energy. Modern science now confirms breathwork changes your brainwaves, heart coherence, and cellular signaling. Every mindful breath you take is a quantum reset, clearing static and realigning your field. 2. Sacred movement and dance. Ancient rituals included dance, martial arts, yoga, and flowing movement, not just for fitness, but to attune the individual to universal rhythms. These weren't just ceremonies, they were field recalibrations. Dance is how you process emotion, move energy, and stabilize new timelines. Yoga aligns your geometry with the universe. Martial arts channel force through intention and discipline. You've already felt the shift in your field after even a few moments of free movement. 3. Sound and mantra. Chanting, singing, and drumming all create resonance. Mantra is more than repetition, it's vibration coding. When you use your voice to speak ancient sounds, you shape the quantum field with deliberate frequency. Even a single tone, sung with intention, can break old patterns and install new ones. 4. Ritual and ceremony. The ancients used ritual to mark transitions, release the old, and call in the new. Ritual is a quantum device, a way to declare to your field and the universe, a shift is happening now. Lighting a candle, cleansing with smoke, or simply creating a dedicated space for reflection are all forms of energetic command. 5. Fasting and cleansing. Periodic fasting was practiced for spiritual and physical clarity. The ancients knew a clear body is a clear channel. Modern science now validates that fasting resets cellular communication and upgrades your brain's signaling. 6. Meditation and stillness. Long before apps or guided tracks, meditation was the core practice for tuning into subtle realms. Stillness allows your field to harmonize, update, and receive non-local information. Every tradition knew, in stillness, the universe speaks. 7. Nature immersion. Shamans, druids, mystics, all retreated to the wild to remember their true frequency. Nature is pure coherence. Time spent in forests, mountains, rivers, or under open sky instantly resets your field. Walking barefoot, touching earth, feeling wind or sunlight are direct downloads from the quantum field. How to apply these now? You don't have to become a monk or travel to sacred sites. All you need is intention and consistency. Light a candle before setting an intention. Take 3 deep breaths before eating or making a decision. Dance or move your body before a big call or meeting. Speak a phrase or mantra that uplifts your energy. Create a small daily ritual: morning tea, sunset gratitude, evening silence. Step outside, close your eyes, and feel nature's field, just for a minute. The ancients didn't need permission to use these tools. They trusted the results they felt. You are here to remember their wisdom and update it for a quantum world. Because all their practices point to the same truth. You are the bridge between the invisible and the visible. Your field is your compass, your language, your technology. And now, with these ancient technologies unlocked, it's time to weave them into a daily practice, not as a chore but as a living way of being. Next, you'll discover how to design your own quantum rituals and how small, consistent activations each day create the greatest shifts over time. Making your quantum field the most reliable tool for shaping reality every single day. It's not about big moments, it's about small, consistent activations. Create your quantum day. Here's a liberating truth. You don't have to wait for a breakthrough, a sign, or a cosmic alignment. You don't need a dramatic ritual or a life-changing event. Reality shifts most for those who practice the quantum daily, not in occasional flashes of insight, but in ordinary, simple, repeated choices that shape your field day by day, moment by moment. Small actions, done with intention, create exponential change. This is the real power of daily quantum practice. You don't wake up one day as a new self. You stabilize the new self layer by layer until it becomes normal. Let's build your quantum day. Morning activation. Begin before you touch your phone. Place your hand on your heart. Breathe deeply and slowly for a minute. To ask, what frequency do I choose to broadcast today? Declare it, today I operate from calm, or I am joy in motion, or I anchor abundance. Feel it in your body. Let the state become your first signal to the field. Movement ritual. Move your body even for 2 minutes. Stretch, sway, shake. Do a few yoga poses or walk outside. As you move, say internally, I am clearing old energy and inviting in new timelines. Let your field wake up, not just your mind. Quantum hydration and nutrition. Drink water mindfully, setting an intention. This water energizes every cell. Choose your first food with awareness. How will it fuel your signal for the day? Eat without distraction just for the first few bites. Micropauses for field alignment. Throughout your day, insert micropauses to recalibrate. Before an email or call. One slow breath, feeling your feet on the ground. To when triggered or stressed, close your eyes, put hand on your belly, and say, return to coherence. After any win or positive moment, pause and feel gratitude. Let it register as a new baseline in your field. Intention reminders. Place a sticky note, symbol, or reminder word somewhere you'll see it often. Every time you notice it, check your frequency. Am I in coherence? Adjust with breath, posture, or a quick mantra. Energy hygiene. At the end of your day, scan your body for residue or heaviness. Visualize any energy that's not yours dissolving and returning to source. Imagine your field glowing, whole, and clean. Thank yourself for showing up to your practice, no matter how small. Nighttime reset. Before sleep, review your day. What frequency did you spend most time in? Celebrate every moment of alignment, however tiny. Set a nighttime intention. I am integrating my upgrades while I sleep. Take a few breaths in stillness, letting your field recalibrate for tomorrow. Here's the deeper insight. Quantum practice is not about being perfect. It's about being present. When you show up daily, with even one conscious breath or one shift in intention, you become a new source in the field, and the universe begins echoing your upgraded signal. Over weeks, the old timelines weaken. The new identity stabilizes. Your life changes not because you forced it, but because you practiced your signal into being. And this is how ordinary days create extraordinary lives. Now, once you've built this daily rhythm, there's a secret portal you can use every night. Because your field doesn't stop just because you're sleeping. Sleep is your quantum upgrade time. Next, you'll unlock how to use quantum sleep and dream engineering to code your dreams and receive guidance while your conscious mind rests. Your sleep is a nightly portal. Learn how to code your dreams and receive guidance. As you move through your quantum day, aligning your field, practicing coherence, and making intention your default setting, there's one power that remains vastly underutilized: the quantum portal of sleep. Most people think of sleep as a time to check out, escape, or recover. But sleep is one of your most potent opportunities for field recalibration, timeline selection, and direct access to guidance from non-local intelligence. When you rest, your conscious mind softens. Your ego quiets. Your energy field becomes malleable, far more receptive to new instructions and insights. Your dreams are not just random stories. They're messages, updates, clearings, and downloads from your higher self and the quantum field. Here's how to transform your nights from passive rest into active quantum engineering. 1. Set a pre-sleep intention. Before you close your eyes, pause. Ask yourself, what do I want my field to process, integrate, or receive tonight? It could be clarity on a question, healing for a pattern, or simply a reset to your highest frequency. Speak it aloud or silently. Tonight, I receive clarity about my next aligned step. Tonight, I release all frequencies not serving my expansion. Tonight, I integrate abundance and peace at the cellular level. Your field listens. The quantum field responds. 2. Quantum breathwork. Take a few slow, conscious breaths. With each inhale, imagine drawing in pure light. With each exhale, visualize releasing static, heaviness, or any residue from the day. This settles your nervous system and opens the dream channel. 3. Visualization as dream coding. Visualize the outcome or state you wish to experience. See it, feel it, sense it as already real. Imagine stepping into that version of yourself as you fall asleep. This primes your subconscious and field to work on your behalf all night. 4. Create a restful environment. Your sleeping space is a field amplifier. Remove clutter, distractions, and electronics if possible. Consider using scents, like lavender, or soft sounds that relax your system. Place a meaningful object or crystal near your bed as a signal to your field. This is my quantum upgrade zone. 5. Receive and record guidance. When you wake, especially from a vivid dream, capture any messages, images, or emotions that stand out. Don't try to interpret right away. Just record. Sometimes, clarity drops in hours later or through synchronicity the next day. Treat your dream data as quantum code. Sometimes literal, sometimes symbolic, always relevant. 6. Nighttime reset if you wake up. If you wake in the middle of the night feeling anxious, scattered, or off, use this moment to reset your field. Place a hand on your heart. Breathe deeply. Repeat. Return to coherence. I am safe. I choose to rest in my chosen frequency. Often, this simple act will help you fall back into deeper, more restorative sleep. 7. Trust the integration process. Some nights you'll sleep deeply and wake up recharged. Other nights your dreams may be intense, vivid, or even chaotic. This is often your field running updates and clearing old data. Trust the process. Quantum sleep doesn't always feel blissful, but it always upgrades your field. Over time, you'll notice a more intuitive insights during the day, quicker emotional resets, a growing sense that you're living in flow, not force, answers or inspiration arriving first thing in the morning. Here's the deeper reality. Sleep is not a break from creation. It's a co-creative state where your higher self, subconscious, and the quantum field collaborate to bring your intentions into form. When you use this nightly portal on purpose, you accelerate every upgrade, every shift, every manifestation. And just as you can engineer your own dreams, you can amplify your power exponentially by aligning with the field of others. Next, you'll unlock the secret of group fields and the quantum power of community, and discover how collective intention warps reality far beyond what any one person can achieve alone. One field is powerful. Many aligned fields are exponential. Learn how group intention warps reality. By now, you've experienced how your field shifts reality. But what happens when more than one coherent human gathers, aligns, and transmits the same frequency? That's where quantum reality bends in ways that defy individual logic. Because group fields don't just add power, they multiply it. This isn't just philosophy. It's observable, measurable, and has been repeated in labs and real life. When two or more people synchronize their frequency in intention, emotion, or focus, a new field emerges, one with a power and reach far beyond the sum of its parts. Here's what the ancients, mystics, and now even science have all noticed. Prayer circles, healing groups, and intention experiments have produced results. Faster healing, better outcomes, more synchronicity that can't be explained by positive thinking alone. Sporting teams in flow state perform at levels far above their roster's talent. Social movements catch fire not because of one charismatic leader, but because a field is built and held by many, all at once. Why is this? Because when human fields synchronize in coherence, they amplify each other. Each person becomes a node in a grid, strengthening the signal, stabilizing the intention, and sending it further into the collective field. This is why group meditations can reduce violence in cities. Why a mastermind circle can unlock genius you never found alone. Why you feel more yourself when surrounded by those operating from love, clarity, and vision. But there's a hidden layer. Group fields don't just amplify the good. They amplify whatever is present. This is why gossip, fear, or group anxiety can spiral just as quickly as inspiration. That's the quantum law. The field magnifies the dominant frequency. So, how do you harness the exponential power of a group field without the distortion? Step 1. Curate coherence. Choose to gather with people who share your commitment to integrity, growth, and alignment. One wobbly signal can dampen the entire field. Step 2. Set a unified intention. Before any meeting, ritual, or gathering, name the purpose. This circle holds space for truth and expansion. We align our frequency to support healing, abundance, creativity. One voice, spoken with conviction, sets the code. Step 3. Synchronize with breath or presence. Take a few breaths together, sync up heartbeats, or hold a brief silence. The quantum doesn't care about rituals, only coherence. Step 4. Allow for emergence. In a strong group field, inspiration, insight, and upgrades move through anyone, not just the leader. Stay open. Listen to what wants to emerge. Ideas, support, and even healing often appear spontaneously. Step 5. Close with gratitude and release. Thank the group. Thank the field. Release attachments to outcomes. Leave the field open for continued integration and unexpected results. Here's the quantum truth. The more aligned fields you participate in, the more momentum you build. You'll find your intentions manifest more easily. You'll notice faster healing, deeper breakthroughs, and more rapid shifts. You're not meant to go it alone in quantum living. Humans are collective creators by nature, so seek out, build, and honor your aligned communities, in person, online, or even with a single trusted friend. Because the field listens to numbers, but it obeys coherence. And when you learn to harness group quantum power, you're ready to manifest not just personal desires, but collective outcomes that uplift everyone involved. Next, we'll dive into why most people miss the mark with manifestation, and how to recalibrate your method so your results become inevitable at the personal and collective level. Manifesting isn't wishing, it's quantum tuning. Let's recalibrate your entire method. You've seen it everywhere: manifestation checklists, vision boards, affirmations, rituals. But if you've ever tried these tools and felt frustrated or let down, you're not alone. Most people miss the mark because they treat manifestation like magic, an act of willpower, hope, or positive thinking. But true quantum manifestation is not about wanting, wishing, or pushing. It's about tuning. It's about aligning your field so precisely that reality cannot help but reorganize around your signal. So why do most people miss? 1. Wishing from lack. If your desire is coded with a sense of absence, I want this because I don't have it, you're broadcasting the frequency of not having. The quantum field responds in kind. Result? More of the same. 2. Split energy. Your thoughts want one thing, but your feelings, words, or behaviors are out of sync. You visualize abundance but act from fear. You affirm love but still expect rejection. The field receives scrambled instructions and delays or distorts your results. 3. Overattachment to outcomes. Obsessing over how and when something will arrive collapses possibility into limitation. The quantum works through infinite paths, most of which you can't predict. Fixating on one pathway narrows your options and blocks natural flow. 4. Outsourcing authority. You look for signs, wait for approval, or chase trends. But true creation happens when you become the source, broadcasting, holding, and trusting your own signal even when nothing seems to change. So what's the quantum way? Step 1. Start with frequency, not form. Before you write a list or build a board, ask, what frequency does my desired reality live in? If you want wealth, feel and embody the version of you who already experiences ease, overflow, and trust. If you want love, become the resonance of worthiness and connection. Make the frequency your starting point, not the outer thing. Step 2. Visualize from identity, not distance. When you imagine your outcome, do it as the you who has already arrived. Step into their posture, their breath, their baseline emotion. Let it feel normal, not far away. This collapses the gap between now and next. Step 3. Speak the signal. Let your words match the timeline you've chosen. Avoid stories that repeat old limits or reinforce what's missing. Declare, I am aligning with this reality now. This is stabilizing in my field. I am open to all pathways for this to unfold. Step 4. Act as the embodiment. Every day, do at least one thing that reflects the new signal, no matter how small. If you're calling in abundance, make a decision from trust, not fear. If it's love, nurture yourself as your own best partner. The quantum doesn't respond to dreams. It responds to demonstration. Step 5. Surrender the how and when. This is where most fail. Set your frequency, act in alignment, and then release attachment. Trust that the field is rearranging. Stay present, curious, and available for synchronicity. Step 6. Course correct with grace. If doubt, fear, or old patterns arise, don't panic. Pause. Breathe. Return to your chosen frequency. Every time you recalibrate, you strengthen your field. Step 7. Acknowledge feedback. Reality is always giving you clues. Notice synchronicities, shifts in energy, lucky breaks, or obstacles dissolving. Acknowledge these as evidence that your field is working. Here's the deepest insight. Manifestation isn't about getting what you want. It's about becoming a frequency so stable that what matches it has no choice but to appear. And when you manifest from the quantum, you experience less striving and more flow, less forcing and more receiving, less hope and more certainty. Because the field is always listening, not to your wishes, but to your coherence. Now that you understand quantum manifestation, let's get precise about how to measure your progress. Next, you'll unlock how to read reality feedback loops, so you can know without doubt that your shift is working and your new timeline is live. Reality responds to your frequency in real time. Learn to read the signs, synchronicities, and glitches. So you've calibrated your field, set your intention, and begun broadcasting the signal of your new timeline. But how do you know if it's actually working? How do you track your progress, not through hope, but through evidence? The quantum field speaks in feedback loops, not in words, not in guarantees, but in signals, echoes, and patterns that reveal how closely your reality is tracking your broadcast. Learning to read these loops is the secret skill of every quantum creator. Let's unpack how to do it. 1. Notice synchronicities. When you're aligned, you'll notice repeating numbers, meaningful coincidences, unexpected opportunities, or the right people appearing at just the right time. These are not random. They're echoes from the field, confirming your frequency is live and active. If you keep seeing, hearing, or feeling the same themes or symbols, pay attention. Your field is in dialogue with you. 2. Track emotional baseline shifts. As your timeline stabilizes, your emotional setpoint changes before the outer world does. You'll feel lighter, more optimistic, more at peace. Even before anything has happened, your nervous system is your first proof of shift. Celebrate this evidence. 3. Watch for fast, unplanned changes. Sudden opportunities, quick resolutions to old problems, or even abrupt endings can be feedback that your field is integrating. When you hold a new frequency, outdated patterns will fall away, sometimes rapidly. Trust the shake-up as confirmation, not chaos. 4. Pay attention to subtle resistance. Sometimes the field tests your signal with echoes of the old timeline. People reappear, patterns resurface, or you're triggered by something familiar. See this as the field asking, "Are you sure?" Hold your alignment. Every time you stay steady, you reinforce the new signal. 5. Listen for glitches in the matrix. Have you ever experienced a bizarre timing, a last-minute shift, or reality seeming to glitch in your favor? These are clear markers that your frequency is distorting local time and space. Embrace these moments as quantum confirmation. 6. Notice feedback in others. You'll see people treat you differently, respond in new ways, or reflect your upgraded field back to you, often without realizing it. Their new reactions are real-time feedback that your inner signal is changing the outer hologram. 7. receive insights and guidance. When your field is strong, guidance lands faster. Intuitive nudges, inspired ideas, or dreams with clear messages. Write them down and act on them. The more you do, the stronger the feedback becomes. Here's what to avoid. Don't demand instant proof or perfection. Quantum shifts often register internally before they show up in the outer world. If you get frustrated or fixated on speed, you scramble your field with impatience. Don't second-guess every sign. Relax into the process. If you're in doubt, return to your chosen frequency, breathe, and notice what's already changed. Affirm the evidence. Every time you recognize a feedback loop, no matter how small, say, "That's my field working. I receive this as proof. I celebrate the shift." This acknowledgement cements the change and invites more. And if you hit a rough patch where things seem to stall or regress, see it as an opportunity to stabilize your signal. Quantum mastery is not about never wobbling. It's about recovering coherence faster each time. Because the real measure of progress is not how perfect your life looks. It's how unshakable you become in your chosen frequency, no matter what the hologram presents. You're not waiting for signs. You're reading them and using them to fine-tune your broadcast. Next, you'll discover the final key to real quantum power: how to hold your field when life gets chaotic, so your signal stays strong, even when the world wobbles around you. True power is holding frequency when the world wobbles. Here's how to remain quantum in crisis. You've learned to set intentions, read the feedback, and measure your shift by the reality mirrors all around you. But every creator, even the most advanced, encounters turbulence. Life will test your coherence. Old timelines will echo. Unexpected challenges will emerge, sometimes when you least expect them. This is not a sign of failure. It's proof that your field is live and influencing a larger, shifting reality. Here's the key difference between ordinary manifestors and true quantum creators. Quantum creators hold the field no matter what the world does. Anyone can stay in alignment when things are smooth, evidence is abundant, and results pour in. But what happens when you lose the client, job, or relationship you needed? The plan derails and uncertainty takes over? Old emotions, doubts, or fears surge up unexpectedly. The world outside seems to contradict your chosen signal? This is the threshold most people never cross. But you're different, because you know, the world does not set your frequency. You do. Here's how to stabilize your signal even in chaos. 1. Anchor in the now. When things go sideways, your mind races to the past. Why did this happen? Or the future. What if it gets worse? Pause. Close your eyes. Feel your breath, your heartbeat, your feet on the floor. Remind yourself, only this moment is real. I choose my frequency now. 2. Return to baseline emotion. You've practiced gratitude, peace, joy, or calm when life was easy. Now, these emotions are your lifelines. Even if you can only reach for 10% gratitude or 1% calm, anchor there. Small signals stabilize the field faster than forced positivity. 3. Breathe into the field. Take slow, conscious breaths. With each inhale, affirm, I receive support from the field. With each exhale, I release what's not mine to carry. Breath is your reset button, available anytime, anywhere. 4. Watch for automatic reactions. When crisis hits, old habits will surface. Panic, blame, shutdown, control. Don't judge. Notice, name, and allow them to pass. Say, that's the old timeline. I choose something new. 5. Restate your intention. Say your chosen frequency aloud. I am safe, even in uncertainty. I trust my signal, even without evidence. I hold my field no matter what. Speaking it stabilizes the command. 6. Move or rest as needed. Sometimes your body needs to shake off adrenaline or tension. Walk, stretch, or simply rest. Movement or stillness both clear static. 7. Ask for help from higher self or aligned community. Quantum creators aren't islands. Reach out to trusted, coherent allies or drop into meditation and ask your higher self, What's the next best move? Support amplifies your field and reminds you, you are not alone in the frequency. 8. Witness the hologram shift. Notice how, when you stabilize your inner world, the outer world slowly adjusts. Solutions appear, synchronicities return, emotional storms pass. It's not about never facing pain or chaos. It's about holding your chosen resonance long enough for the storm to pass. 9. Celebrate the return to coherence. Every time you recover your field, no matter how wobbly the world, acknowledge it. You are becoming unbreakable, not because life is easy, but because your signal is sovereign. Here's the deepest truth. When you hold your field during upheaval, you become the cause, not the effect. You stop being tossed by circumstances and start bending reality from within. Even when nothing seems to change outside, trust that your quantum broadcast is already shifting probabilities below the surface. And this is the final initiation of the quantum creator. To hold your field, not as an act of willpower, but as a natural baseline. And from that place to create your universe on purpose. Next, you'll claim your birthright as the one who shapes reality, not just survives it. And fully step into your power as the conscious quantum creator you were born to be. You are no longer a reactor, you are a creator. Step into conscious authorship of your universe. You've learned the art of holding your field in chaos. You've discovered how to set frequencies, read feedback, clear chords, and move energy with your breath, your movement, and your intention. You've been tuning, aligning, and recalibrating, daily, nightly, in joy and in challenge. And now the shift becomes irreversible. You are no longer simply responding to reality. You are authoring it. This is not motivational hype. It's the practical result of every quantum law you've embodied so far. Most people live as effect, reacting to external circumstances, trapped in endless loops of cause and reaction, their field hijacked by the world around them. But as you stabilize your broadcast, clear your static, and build coherence, you stop waiting for life to choose for you. You become the cause. What does this actually look like? 1. You set the vibe of the room. You enter a space, and instead of absorbing whatever's swirling, you project your frequency. Others notice, sometimes without knowing why. Your clarity ripples, inviting others to coherence. 2. You lead with intention, not reaction. You wake up with a chosen signal, set your day's tone, and align your actions accordingly. When challenge arises, your first move isn't panic, it's presence. 3. You no longer outsource authority. You trust your intuition over external experts. You listen to guidance within the field, and you know how to discern true resonance from static. 4. You upgrade timelines by choice. You don't wait for permission to change your life. You sense when a timeline has run its course, and you consciously shift, choosing new outcomes, new relationships, new creative paths without apology or delay. 5. You embody the identity of the creator. You don't just believe you're powerful, you feel it. The truth of your quantum nature becomes an unshakable experience, not just a concept. 6. You stop arguing with the hologram. When something old reappears, you recognize it as a feedback loop, not fate. You respond by recalibrating your field, not collapsing into old emotion. 7. You inspire and influence by being. Others are drawn to your stability, your clarity, your genuine presence. You influence without manipulation. Your field naturally shifts the energy of those around you. 8. You celebrate small shifts and big wins alike. You see progress in subtle synchronicities and massive quantum leaps. You anchor gratitude in every phase. 9. You are unattached to outcome but committed to signal. You trust that as long as you hold your chosen frequency, the field will organize in your favor, often in ways better than you imagined. This is quantum authorship in practice. You move from survival to sovereignty, from accidental to intentional, from hoping for miracles to being the miracle for yourself and others. And with this shift comes a deeper call. You're not here only to shape your personal reality. Your field, once stabilized, becomes a ripple that affects every life you touch. Every word, every choice, every energetic upgrade you hold. is felt across the collective field, shifting the human story in ways you may never fully see. Now you're ready to own that ripple, to claim your influence, and to consciously amplify your impact on the quantum field. Next, you'll see how your transformation moves far beyond your own life, and how you can start shaping a legacy that changes the story for everyone. Your shift doesn't stop with you. It shifts the entire human story. You're already affecting the collective. Let's stretch your perspective wider than ever before. Every shift you make in your own field, every boundary you set, every frequency you stabilize, every breakthrough you anchor, doesn't just change your personal timeline. It reverberates. The quantum field is not local, linear, or separate. It's collective, holographic, and deeply entangled. That means your inner work isn't isolated. When you move from survival to creation, from chaos to coherence, from reactivity to authorship, you become a living broadcast tower for the new human story. This isn't philosophy, it's observable. Ever notice how a single calm, grounded person can settle a whole room of chaos? Or how a visionary leader can lift an entire group just by being present? Your frequency acts as a tuning fork for others. When you stabilize a new signal, you unconsciously invite everyone around you to recalibrate. Your clarity challenges their confusion. Your presence soothes their anxiety. Your joy gives silent permission for others to expand. But the ripple moves even further. Quantum research confirms focus group meditation can reduce crime. Collective intention can shift physical outcomes thousands of miles away. Ideas, inventions, and creative leaps can surface around the world at the same time, once the field is ready. Why? Because when you unlock a new frequency, it becomes available in the collective grid. You are not just upgrading your own timeline. You are making it easier for everyone else to step into that vibration. You heal yourself and generations before and after you benefit. You create abundance, and suddenly, the people you love start unlocking opportunities of their own. You stabilize peace, and your environment, your city, your family, all become more likely to reflect it. The old story taught you that real change happens by fighting the outer world. But in the quantum, the most powerful shift is always internal first, collective next. You are a node in a living web. When you light up, your neighbors, seen and unseen, begin to flicker awake. And here's the deeper truth. The quantum field doesn't need masses to shift the story. A small percentage of coherent, awake, self-activated humans can tip the balance for the entire system. That's the leverage you carry right now. You don't have to save the world. You only have to stabilize your own field and trust that your ripple will reach where it's needed most. Every day, as you practice coherence, as you hold boundaries, as you show up to your highest frequency, you are living proof that new realities are possible. And as more of us do this, the fabric of collective reality shifts faster than logic would ever predict. But what will you choose to leave as your ripple? What new potential will you consciously broadcast into the future? Next, you'll discover how to design your quantum legacy, so the upgrades you make now ripple forward, shaping lives, timelines, and the future of humanity itself. What will you build, leave, or shift by living quantum? Let's architect your ripple across generations. Up until now, you've experienced the power of shifting your frequency, authoring your reality, and watching your personal timeline bend in response. But your evolution doesn't end with you. It extends beyond, into your relationships, your community, and the generations that follow. You're leaving a legacy, whether you're aware of it or not. Most people think of legacy as material, money, property, reputation. But in the quantum, your real legacy is energetic. It's the patterns you break, the new blueprints you embody, the codes you make available for others. Every time you heal a wound, claim your worth, or create from coherence, you make it easier for those who come after you to do the same. Whether they're your children, students, friends, or perfect strangers, you're an architect of possibility. So, how do you consciously design a quantum legacy? 1. Get clear on your signature frequency. Ask, what do I most want to transmit into the field, even after I'm gone? Is it love, creativity, courage, liberation, Choose the core frequencies you want to ripple forward. Let these become your guiding star for every action, choice, and project. 2. Lead by embodiment, not just words. Your signal is felt far more than anything you say. As you stabilize your chosen frequency, you unconsciously give others permission to do the same. People remember how you made them feel, how you inspired them to upgrade. Be the living demonstration of your legacy. 3. Create systems that outlast you. What practices, rituals, or ideas do you want to pass on? Document them, teach them, share your processes, whether through conversation, writing, creative work, or simple daily acts. Your wisdom becomes encoded in the collective through what you leave behind. 4. Mentor, support, and activate others. Legacy multiplies when you empower others to live their own upgrades. Support those who are ready to shift. Guide, encourage, and celebrate breakthroughs. Your investment in their coherence expands your impact exponentially. 5. Release attachment to outcome. Legacy isn't about controlling what the future does with your gifts. It's about broadcasting your clearest, highest frequency now, trusting the field to distribute it where it's needed most. Let go of needing credit, applause, or perfect results. Your ripple will find its own way. 6. Heal ancestral and future lines. You're not only here to leave new patterns, you can also release inherited ones. Take time to honor your lineage. Thank your ancestors for their strengths and lessons. Consciously release any energetic residue you do not wish to carry forward. Send intention to future generations. May my upgrades make your path lighter, clearer, and more joyful. 7. Celebrate the ripple. Acknowledge the shifts you've inspired, even if they're invisible. Your existence, your healing, your growth are already encoded in the quantum web. Here's the highest truth. You may never see the full results of your legacy, but every act of coherence, every decision to hold your field, every timeline you upgrade, lives on in the fabric of reality. You are not just a node in the web. You are a weaver. And as you look at your life, not just as a personal journey, but as an offering to the collective, you begin to live every moment with new intention, new power, and new meaning. Now you're ready to bring it all together. Next, you'll remember the core of it all, that the quantum power you've sought was never outside you. You've simply been waking up to what you already are. Everything you've learned was already within you. Now go live like the universe is listening, because it is. Pause for a moment. Feel your breath. Notice the subtle electricity in your hands, your chest, your mind. That's the field alive, awake, and ready to move at your signal. You have traveled through layers of reality, science, self, and mystery. You have learned that you are not merely a body, not just a mind, not a passive observer of fate. You are the wave and the particle, the signal and the receiver, the author and the experiencer, all at once. You've discovered that your thoughts are not just thoughts. They are encoded vibrations, instructions to the field. Your emotions aren't just feelings. They are the modulations that tune your entire reality. Your attention isn't just focus. It's the cursor that writes the next scene in your hologram. You know now that you're not at the mercy of timelines. You are choosing them, leaping between infinite versions of self, with every shift in frequency. You are not seeking permission, waiting for a sign, or hoping for the universe to notice you. The universe is listening because you are the universe, remembering itself through human form. You've learned to clear interference, collapse old trauma, set intentions as frequency anchors, and jump to parallel realities. Not by hope, but by coherence. You know how to upgrade your energy with every bite, breath, movement, and moment of rest. You've seen how group fields amplify your intentions, how your ripple moves through generations, how every timeline you rewrite becomes a beacon for the collective. But the most powerful realization of all is this. You're not becoming quantum. You're already quantum. You always were. Every tool, every ritual, every practice was not a path to some new self. It was a remembering, a retuning, a restoration of your native state. You have always been a field of infinite possibility, always broadcasting, always receiving, always connected to the source of creation. Now, the question is simple. Will you live as if you are that powerful? Will you walk, speak, eat, choose, create, and rest, as if the universe is echoing your signal in real time? You have nothing left to prove, no code left to crack, no authority outside you to consult. You are the field. You are the signal. You are the quantum creator. So hold your frequency. Honor your coherence. Celebrate your influence. Live your legacy, moment by moment, breath by breath. Because every second, the universe listens. And every time you remember your true nature, you bend reality not just for yourself but for all of us. Go forward with certainty. Let the old stories fall away. And create like the universe is your canvas, because it is.